10 o'clock, welcome in. It is Friday. It's finally Friday. Landrum Roberts, that's Conrad Van Order. Molly Robinson hanging out. Pat Smith back with us on Monday. It actually feels like summer this morning. Nice and 82, temperature rising.
I'm really worried about Greg's ears after coming in here and plugging my headphones in.
Were they blasting?
He might be deaf.
Really?
Yeah, he might need to go to an ENT.
Cole might have really good hearing because I had to turn mine up.
Say Bears are just right.
Opposites attract, isn't that what they say?
You were Goldilocks right there.
Yeah.
This is just right.
Just right.
Now, Damien's the one who has to turn it up really, really loud.
His are bad. Every time I sit in that seat, I always have to turn it down.
How is everybody this morning? Everybody good?
I'm
Good.
wonderful.
Really?
Yeah, feel great. It's
Yeah.
Friday.
You're rocking your Stallions gear?
I am rocked a lot of Stallions gear this week. It's
Did
a
you
big game.
Did you watch the NBA last night?
I did.
How about Tyrese Halliburton?
Yeah, that was making quite a name for himself.
That's all I got.
Well, that's all. Honestly,
That's all
Landrum,
that
that's all
matters.
you have to say, and people go, that guy knows ball.
Yeah.
Because that's all you needed to take away from last night was Tyrese Halliburton.
I know the association, don't I?
That's right.
Tyrese Halliburton knocks it down. Dagger right in the hearts of Thunder fans. 1-0. Series lead. That's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was an awesome game. If you were one of the people that tuned in for it, the Thunder were up 15 with about 9.5 minutes left to go. They were up 11 with 3 minutes left to go, something like that. And Indiana, yeah, they find a way with the MVP, the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, had a chance to make it a 3-point game. And he had a mid-range jumper, goes off the back of the iron. The Pacers get the rebound, take it down the court with their guy Tyrese Halliburton, and this is how it sounded last night on ABC.
Final seconds, no fouls to give. Halliburton looking. Halliburton driving, pulls off, jump shot. It's good! It's good! With 0.3 of a second remaining. Timeout, OKC. Tyrese Halliburton does it again.
All right.
With your favorite broadcaster.
Mm-hmm.
Great call.
Yeah. Harlan's good.
Yeah, he is. But no, it's super impressive. Very difficult shot there from the wing for Halliburton. And this was the cool stat of the night, though. So that is the fourth time this postseason, not in his career, just this postseason, that he has hit a game-winning shot in the final 5 seconds of regulation or overtime.
Made for the moment.
Absolutely. Talk about clutch. That is about as clutch as it gets. So a big year for Halliburton. He's rising. His star is rising very, very fast.
We've checked the box 3 minutes into the show, and that is the NBA that we will talk today on Three Man Front. Nothing else. If you want to chime in.
That was a fun conversation.
We might read the text on the air, 205-834-9450.
But try to make them funny or something, right?
Yeah. The wait is over. The suspense is over. Aaron Rodgers has found his new home. 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that.
Game changer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the odds did slightly move.
Yeah, I saw I think their AFC North odds went from plus 550 to plus 500 is what I saw.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So movement in the right direction.
The Giants, there was an offer that was there, but when they signed Russell Wilson, he pulled his name out of that talks. And then, of course, the Minnesota Vikings, but they want to stick with their draft pick and youth. Don't blame them there. But Aaron Rodgers is a Pittsburgh Steeler. How much of a difference does he make in Pittsburgh remains to be seen, but it'll at least be a fascinating watch until he gets hurt or looks like a 40-something-year-old quarterback.
Well, I'm just glad that the NFL
Not
got
named
their
Tom Brady.
Yeah, I'm just glad the NFL got their wish because if you remember, the Week 1 matchup for the Steelers is against the New York Jets. And I think we all know why they did that when the schedules came out a few weeks ago. So I'm glad that they finally got their wish because that would have been a real dud of a game if Aaron Rodgers wasn't participating in it. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. He'll be in Pittsburgh next week for mandatory training camp. So he will get things started there, try to work on his repartee with DK Metcalf and the other guys there. So.
Yeah, I forgot about the guys that they had added. No more George Pickens, but you've added to that wide receiver core. And
I bet you probably wish George Pickens was still there right now if you're Aaron Rodgers, but
hopefully everybody gets along.
That will be an interesting,
Because if you remember, was it Hayward's comments when he was asked about it a couple of months ago, and he went on the record saying, "Look, man, if he don't want to be here, we can go with somebody else."
Yep.
I don't think that everybody's going to be there with open arms.
No, I mean, I think they'll certainly need to see some because,
they're not going to throw him a parade when he walks into the locker room.
No. And I think it's also different, too, than, even when he started with the Jets, right? Because when he went to the Jets, he was coming off of playing very good football in Green Bay. So you had the expectation that this is going to be an elite quarterback still, potentially, and he's not that guy anymore. So it'll be interesting to see how he's received there in Pittsburgh. I hope they like ayahuasca, or they have a little I don't know, maybe they can open up a corner store somewhere there in Pittsburgh. But yeah, it's going to be I'm just glad that it's over because we all knew it was going to happen eventually, but it got dragged on for so long. So good for Pittsburgh, good for Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully it works out. And it's only a 1-year deal. So if it goes south, then you can wash your hands of it pretty
When we
quickly.
talk about sports venues and cool places to go, and that comes up from time to time, whether it's Molly Marinates or Pat Ponders, I would recommend going to a game in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I would love to go to. It's not Heinz Field anymore.
No, it's an insurance company.
Yeah, whatever.
I think.
It's like Acrisure.
Yeah, that's
something
good.
like that.
Good, Molly.
Yeah, good pull.
Money well spent by that company for Molly, at least.
That's right. I just know that's the stadium they blow up in the Batman movie.
Yep. I had to go do the NCAA volleyball event, and it was in Pittsburgh. It was the Final Four.
Okay.
And we had been up in Philadelphia for the Army-Navy game. 3-man front went up there. And so I drove through the Allegheny Mountains, about 5-hour drive. It was pretty, though.
Mm-hmm.
Drove by Taylor Swift's hometown where she grew up, which is interesting. They don't provide tours. Or
I was about to say, do
like
they have is it Taylor Swift Avenue or anything like that there?
I don't know. I just drove by where you would take a turn to go to the place.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
But I will say this, much different than here. It is really hard to find a gas station. I don't know how people do it as you're traveling from early in the morning. And I was looking for a cup of coffee because I had to leave the hotel and check out and go get rental car at 3 a.m. So
no gas station, no coffee.
but I saw a Hampton Inn. And one thing I know about Hampton Inns is they got those big kegs of coffee early in the morning. So I had I went in there and I've stayed there enough. I don't think they minded. But
well, that was
I walked in and there was apparently a big wrestling tournament that was going on. So you had a lot of kids and a lot of parents there in the lobby, and I loaded up with coffee. That got me there.
That's a good life hack, actually. If you need somewhere to stop and get coffee, maybe stop at a hotel that has a complimentary breakfast. That's a really good idea.
Well, I would normally not do it, but I didn't feel bad about it. Number one, I was worried about the other people driving on the road, and I needed to be all my faculties.
It's very nice
to be together. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the game in Pittsburgh, it was awesome. It was actually when Duck Hodges had to take over because Big Ben was hurt.
Okay, yeah.
And they played the Buffalo Bills that night. But I'll tell you, the scene, talk about Green Bay fans, but Steelers fans, a whole nother level as well. And Jerome Bettis has a restaurant that's right there in the park, in the area, I guess, of the stadium. And it's called 36. And really nice, cool restaurant. And it was
like
packed,
a steakhouse or something like that.
But the men's restroom where the urinals are, it's one-way glass. And so you're looking out at all of the people that are walking up to the hostess stand.
While you're taking a leak?
While you're doing that. And just the amount of guys that were waiting for a stall to tinkle was... Yeah, it was interesting. Of course, I was like, well, this would be a cool experience.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah, it was. But no, it's a fun place to go.
Yeah, I just want to go for the bathroom now. I don't really care about the game. That sounds really.
You would go just to go and experience that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not? Absolutely. I did find it interesting. We were coming in and we were changing out like our shows. We don't have very much time, and I found it interesting that Cole was like, "Oh, we've got plenty of audio cuts from the Braves. He likes to rub it in." Look, I embrace it right now. We
have to. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to. When you start 0-7, you're not going to hurt my feelings. They've been playing bad baseball all year. So yeah, we're going to talk about it. Felt really good before the show went off the air, and it was like we have done with Molly in some of the Nebraska games.
Oh, that Iowa game a couple years ago. Yep. Remember that one vividly.
That was. But not to that degree. I found it comical, a little bit comical. Braves blow a 6-run lead in the 9th. In case you've missed it, first time they've done that since July 17th of 1972 when they did it against the Mets. Put that in perspective, because I grew up watching the Braves The first game I can remember watching on TV was Bob Horner in the 4 home run game. But going over to Braves games when they were terrible, I'm talking about Ozzie Virgil as a catcher. You had Tanner as the manager, Gerald Perry playing first base. The list goes on and on. We've seen a lot of bad Braves baseball. And maybe it was because they just didn't have a lead in the 9th inning.
Mm-hmm.
But to think that it's been that long since they blew that kind of lead and blew it, that was very appropriate. But
So I guess that's technically, and I understand the circumstances, it's not in the postseason, but that is, I guess, technically the worst Braves loss of your lifetime.
yes. As far as blowing a lead in the 9th inning, yeah, it would be there.
Oh.
Barrett Salih's going to be joining us at 11 o'clock. He's the pre- and post-game host of the Braves Radio Network, and we're going to get his thoughts. What's going on? What does this mean? Anthopoulos already seeing where Craig Kimbrell is being called up. So that would be red flag number 1. But here's Brian Snicker after the game, and Braves fans, this ought to make you feel good.
It's a horrible loss. And now we get to sit on it for 5 hours on the airplane, and we're all going to be miserable, and we should. We didn't execute, we didn't put the game away, and we got to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you hear a coach, we're not a bad team. We're a good team that's playing bad right now, so you're a bad team.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't make it any better.
No.
Are you a good team? No, you got a lot of guys
players
that are falling well short of their expectations and what they've done in previous seasons. But is this a good team?
You could say maybe you're a talented team. You have a lot of talented guys.
You have a lot of talented individuals.
But they're playing bad.
But you're not a good team.
No.
We're not a good team.
No.
I say we because I spend money on the Braves. I bought this hat.
You
By
can
the way,
say
do you
we.
like this hat?
I do. It's a very nice. Wait, that's a Braves hat?
Yeah.
That's that's sharp.
I like that hat. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And it's patriotic.
that's very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, Braves, I don't know where they go from here.
Yeah, I mean, now you got to go to San Francisco, play a pretty good Giants team this weekend, so that's not going to be easy. But yeah, that's to get swept by the Diamondbacks, who were struggling in their own right. I think they were on a 5-game skid going into the series.
Well, that's been the story. The Red Sox, they were struggling.
The Padres,
Padres were struggling. I think the Nationals were struggling. And
you're the slump buster.
And the Braves have been the slump buster. So yeah, go out to San Francisco and get swept, and that's fine. Late starts doesn't matter. I'll listen a little bit. I'm not going to watch.
I was about to say the game tonight. I think first pitch is like 9:15. So
I'll
think there's a lot of people here that are going to be watching that one.
No, NCAA baseball regionals. Auburn getting set for Coastal Carolina. You get a late first pitch there at Plainsman Park, but they're going to have a sellout crowd. And Conrad, you saw it yesterday where Auburn has added some additional tickets, some general admission for the top of the roof there in right field.
Yep.
And hopefully they've got the railing that's secure up there. But that should be a fun time tonight in Auburn.
Absolutely. Yeah, 8 o'clock is the expected first pitch there from Auburn. They're going to be underway hopefully today and then tomorrow, get 2 quick wins, and then find yourself on the way to Omaha. But yeah, big opportunity for Auburn here. And like Landrum said, they have made it may have sold out. I'm not sure, but I know they were trying to make more GA tickets available because they want to pack out Plainsman Park. And we know Auburn is one thing they are very, very good at is whether it's football, basketball, baseball, they know how to create an atmosphere and they know how to get their fans engaged. So I would expect nothing short of that tonight.
You mentioned Omaha, and today is June the 6th of 2025. And of course, today we honor the brave souls and we appreciate our nation's history and the D-Day operation of June 6, 1944. That brought together the land, air, and sea forces of the Allied armies in what became known as the largest amphibious invasion in military history. The operation, given the code name Overlord, delivered 5 naval assault divisions to the beaches of Normandy, France. The beaches were given the code names Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. The invasion force included 7,000 ships and landing craft manned by over 195,000 naval personnel from 8 allied countries. Almost 133,000 troops from the United States, the British Commonwealth, and their allies landed on D-Day. Casualties from these countries during the landing numbered 10,300. By June 30th, over 850,000 men, 148,000 vehicles and 570,000 tons of supplies had landed on the Normandy shores. Fighting by the brave soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied forces' Western Front and Russian forces on the Eastern Front led to the defeat of German Nazi forces. On May 7th, 1945, German General Alfred Jodl signed an unconditional surrender at Reims, France. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today, we certainly remember. #1019 here on a Friday. Landrum, Conrad, and Molly. Today we remember D-Day, and we'll continue throughout the program to honor those who, all of those who are serving, who have served, but especially those brave souls that landed on that beach and what it meant in this country's history, not only then, but certainly what it means now. The text line is open, 205-834-9450. 800-239-WJOX. We got the coach, Wimp Sanderson. He's going to be joining us courtesy of Craneworks at 10:30. Barrett Sallee, a lot to talk about with him after the Braves' epic collapse in the ninth inning against the D-backs yesterday. And also Molly's Movie Minute coming up at 12:30. Office Space.
Oh, yeah.
Molly's lowest rating, I think, was a 2.5, and that was for bench warmers. But something tells me that, Conrad, Office Space will garner higher star ratings from Molly.
I would sure hope so. I'm very interested in this one. This is one of my favorite comedies
Did you get the memo?
of all time. Huh? Oh.
My stapler. My stapler.
I was about to say, maybe we'll have to assign Molly a kung fu movie for next week. We'll see.
Well, I don't want to give too much away before 12:30.
No, don't.
But of course, every Friday we always ask on our Twitter poll, what movie should I watch and review for next week? And we like to get your opinion. But this week, the 4 options are the one and only Cocaine Bear that I still do need to watch eventually.
Yeah, that one's got to resurface every now and then until the listeners finally vote for it.
Well, it is back on the list this week, along with Bull Durham, Borat, and Fargo.
Borat?
Borat.
Yeah.
See, I know who that is. I've obviously never seen it.
Is Borat the one where he...
Wait,
is Borat the one where he plays the model?
No. That's Bruno. That one is that one is horrible.
Yeah, don't see that one.
That one is Borat's the one.
Borat's very nice.
Yeah, Borat is the one where he's the
Bruno's very, very raunchy and nasty.
Yeah, he acts like he's from the Middle East and coming over to America to learn about American culture, and the entire movie is a joke because everyone thought he was real and it was really a movie, and it even features Alabama in part of it.
Yep,
it
sure does.
Of course, Fargo is on this list, and I've never seen Fargo. But I know about the wood chipper because I have a picture in the wood chipper.
You got the picture with the wood chipper.
When we went up to Fargo, yeah.
And you would do a great accent as well.
If you're just...
Do what?
You would be able to do their accent very well.
Perfect.
Do it.
Like the Minnesotan kind of?
Yeah,
like
that's
that
it
deep
right there.
Midwestern?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wouldn't Molly, she would be in a... I just imagine it's really, really cold Fargo. I don't know why I envision her in a kitchen that hadn't been updated since like the 70s. And she's wearing a really thick sweater that
Making
will come
some
up
casserole?
and it covers her neck too. Yep, you're working on your doodads and your knickknacks.
Yeah.
And you got some hot dish there in the oven.
Oh, I love a good hot dish.
And you're just waiting for the kids to get home from school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How was hockey?
How was hockey? How'd you skate?
How'd you skate today?
I can't do one of those. I feel left out.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, we will.
I don't know if
It's kind of
mine
nasally.
It was
No, yours was good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yours is very subtle, very casual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that coming up. Talking about the baseball regional though tonight in Auburn, you've got regionals, super regionals that are starting today. You'll have others that begin tomorrow, including Arkansas and Tennessee, LSU and Auburn, the other two SEC teams that are participating. Auburn though taking on a Coastal Carolina team. Head coach Butch Thompson talking about this team and very interesting, just what this team in particular means to him. Found it very telling about this special group of individuals there at Auburn.
Anytime a historic program like this that's been playing baseball for a long time does something for the first time, that's a big deal. That's to be celebrated. I just don't want this to end. This is one of my most endearing teams since we've been here. This team is special. And this will be more emotional for me if we don't win the whole thing. You know, we dream, aim high. So I don't ever want this to end with this team. That's why I was disappointed with the SEC tournament, playing one game. I want them. That's 2 or 3 more games that I missed getting to coach and be with this team. So I want this thing to go on, but for it to be here, I think it only stamps and digs deeper how much excitement, how much fun, and how much growth we get to show this growth for 2 consecutive weekends, which is pretty phenomenal as you probably go around town, you know, to have all our sports are so great and talked about. And this is our time. And we've been working hard for a couple of years to get back to feeling something like this. So it's a big deal to me.
Well, they're going to be taking on a Coastal Carolina team that ran through a pretty good regional field there in Conway, South Carolina. And right now, according to FanDuel Sportsbook, Auburn tonight is a -1.5 favorite overall. So I would think playing at home, the environment. We got video from one of our great listeners. We're talking about the rooftop that they had added, Conrad. It
Looks
like
incredible.
They've got railing that is up, which they said that they were installing that yesterday. But they also looked like that there was a little bit of a.
It looked like a pool.
It could
be a
looked like
pool.
you could makeshift that into a pool.
Yes. And that would be awesome. But watching the overhead video of it, I mean, my first thought I said to you was, that's where I'd want to watch the game, right? If I have a ticket, like, let me go sit out there in right field. Like, that looks awesome.
The Plainsman pool?
Yeah, Plainsman. There you go.
Or would you call it the Plainsman puddle?
I like pool.
It's weaker.
Okay.
And
We're spitballing.
Yeah, we are spitballing.
Just giving Auburn ideas.
And then the next edition can be the lazy river that circles the ballpark.
Oh, that's an idea.
These are free, Auburn. Just handed them out to you.
Coming to you from the diehard Alabama fan.
That's right.
Also, other regionals going on today. Super regionals. Arizona taking on North Carolina. That is an early start. You get that one started at 11 a.m. Central Time. So about 30 minutes from right now. Later on, you get Miami and Louisville. Florida State taking on Oregon State. Of course, mentioned Auburn hosting Coastal Carolina. Murray State, that's been one of those teams of this NCAA baseball tournament that's been a real big surprise taking on Duke. I did have a coach the other day. We were talking about NIL, and we were guessing what could Murray State's be. And had a college baseball coach that listens to our show, and he texted. He said, I would be surprised if they really had any NIL at Murray State, which is even more impressive.
Absolutely.
About what they've done.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about the other day, and it was, if they had even $200,000 in NIL for their entire roster, that would be impressive. But yeah, I mean, those are kids. You know what, Landrum? They love playing baseball.
They do,
and that's why they find themselves here, because they love playing ball. That's all they care about.
Coming up tomorrow, you've LSU in West Virginia. That will be a early start, noon, I believe. No, excuse me. 1 o'clock, LSU fans, if you're making your way down there. Tennessee and Arkansas, you get that one at 4 o'clock in Fayetteville. And UTSA, another one of those teams of the tournament that eliminated the Texas Longhorns, will start their super regional with UCLA tomorrow night at 6. So college baseball is here.
Well, something else that's incredible is our friends over at Diamonds Direct, because it's summer, and summer is the time for some life events going on. So whether you're thinking about popping the question, or if you know someone that just graduated and you're looking for the perfect gift, Diamonds Direct is sure to have something for them, for you. Whatever your style or your preference is, they will have you covered. And if not, no worries, because their experts can help you out with a custom design. Their showroom is absolutely beautiful. I'm sure you'll be able to find something that fits your style and your budget, because I'm serious when I say they have thousands of options. And plus, they're diamond experts. They can help you find the perfect piece. So go by and check out the beautiful showroom, like I said, with thousands of options at Diamonds Direct.
One of our favorite visits of the week, the Coach Wimp Sanderson, presented by Craneworks. He joins us next, the Friday edition of Three Man Front, Landrum, Conrad, and Molly on Jocks 94.5. 10:32, three-man front here on a Friday. Hope everyone's doing well. Getting ready for a big weekend. We got the Stallions coming up on Sunday. I'm looking at the weather forecast, and I was going hourly. Some rain early on Sunday morning, but it looks like it's going to clear up nicely as they kick off, try to win another conference championship, land in the big game to make it back-to-back world championships for our Stallions. Take on the Panthers, 6-0 all time. If you missed our interview with Coach Skip Holtz yesterday, you can go and find it there. It's archived at jocksfm.com and the Three-Man Front podcast. But Stallions trying to remain perfect against those Michigan Panthers, but it won't be easy, and we invite all our great listeners who want to attend. We're going to be there.
Yeah, and I thought he made a great point, just kind of talking about how the matchups are of a completely different Stallions team early in the season, different Panthers team a couple weeks ago, and now both of them 100% healthy, so it should be a great game on Sunday.
This is going to be a great segment because it's the coach, Wimp Sanderson, presented by our friends at Craneworks. And it's the coach, Wimp Sanderson, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I guess we try to find the topic of the week or the topic of the day, and I guess it'd be SEC baseball.
That would
Auburn,
be it.
Auburn. Well, I think Auburn at 8:00 tonight plays a good team, bad name. When you think about names, when you think of their name, it doesn't knock you down. But their team, they got elite pitching. They're batting about 290 as a team, which is below what Auburn bats. And so if after you get through playing that game, you play again tomorrow. I think it's 2:00, and then if there's a game on Sunday, you go there with the Sunday game, and then of course you've got LSU playing, and then one of the bigger games, I guess, although Auburn's the biggest one for people around here, was Tennessee and Arkansas. Tennessee is good. They like to make you mad, and they do a good job with it. And Arkansas is good as well. So there'll be at least one team in the NCAA World Series. Hopefully there'll be three, but we'll wait and see.
Coach, I do want to get your comments. You probably saw it, the viral video that went out, and we talked about it here on the show, of Florida's head baseball coach Kevin O'Sullivan ripping officials at the tournament. He ended up having to apologize, which he should have, and that statement coming out earlier this week. Just your thoughts on his handling of the situation.
Well, it went too far. I guess there are times in life that when you're trying to take up for your baseball team or argue about what's happening, you perhaps with officials go too far, and of course they kick you out of the game if it's the middle of the game. But this was after a game problem, right towards the end, and he went too far, and so I don't know what the reprimand is. Everybody has their own idea of what a reprimand should be. I don't really have any comment about how you should reprimand him. That's the athletic director's job. That's what he gets paid for. So, it was a tough time. We had 13 teams get in have a chance to play for a national championship, and we're down to 3. One is going to get in. The other 2 we don't know. The number may be a little bit lower than it has been, but what happens to you in baseball is that pitching is big, and some of these teams that you don't think about being very good because their name, it doesn't knock you down. Vanderbilt gets beat at home and so forth. They've got good pitching, and they're able to beat you in a short series. And of course, the short series is a 2 out of 3. So I know hitting's important. Hitting you've got, but if you can some way keep the other team from scoring, you got a chance to win 1-0 anyway. So I think. Was getting 3 teams have a chance to get in. That's great. Should it have been more? Well, you would hope there had been more, but I don't know for sure.
Coach, I had a just kind of a general coaching question for you. and it kind of ties into baseball. We talked about this with the Braves, and they're struggling a lot lately. It's been a really rough season for them so far.
Yeah.
And I'm just, from your perspective, when it relates to the players, and I know players now are different than when you were coaching, do you find is it better to be I guess, a player-friendly coach, or to be more of that no-nonsense, almost kind of a hard-ass coach? Or do you feel like you have to have kind of a combination of the two to really be able to relate to the players? Because I just think it's interesting, the two different styles, and how, you hear teams say, oh, well, we need a guy that's more player-friendly. Oh, well, this guy's going too easy on him, so now we need somebody that's a little more serious. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, my thoughts would be a combination. When I took the job, I felt like we weren't very tough as a basketball program, and I mashed my guys pretty hard, and they got pretty disgusted. In the meantime, while I was fussing at them, I might say something funny. At least they thought it was funny when they got away from me. They didn't ha ha ha, but they thought it was a little bit funny. So I think it's a combination of both a little bit. It's a situation where you want your team to play hard. I thought it was very interesting when they interviewed some of my players after I've gone on my show, not my show, but other shows, and they said that they sort of felt like I knew how to handle each one personality-wise. Not each one, but because I had some quit, of course, but that I did a decent job, and I tried to do that. Here's what happens to all of us in life, and I'm going through one right now that I can hardly hold my head up. You can go through tough times, and you can go through bad times. You can go through all those kinds of times, and while you're going through those and you're coaching your team, they don't like it. They don't like it at all. They don't like you. But when they get through, and I've said this on the show before, but I have new listeners every day. But when they get through with it, and if they go on to play pro basketball, or they get better as a human being, I'm gonna tell you what my coach did. That kind of thing. Boy, I'm telling you, I'm glad he did it now. It's kind of like raising your kids. When you're trying to make them do what you want them to do and to behave, when they're going through it, they don't like it. You got to be in tonight after your date. You got to be in 10:30. 10:30? Well, those kinds of little things and things that you think about. I would say that the answer to your question, the best I can, would be a combination of both. I don't know if that's right or wrong.
No, it's just from your experience, like what I guess worked with your players better. But like you said, maybe it's individual basis.
It did. Yeah, I think it did. We had, guys that I had recruited, and I was not the head coach when I recruited them. And but once I got to be the head coach, they thought my personality changed, and it probably did a little bit, because I was trying to get them to get on the dotted line and try to make them like me. But in my personality, I guess, did change. Sonny Smith says I don't have one, so I'm okay in good shape. So,
Sonny.
So anyway, my personality a little bit changed, and I think it changed to the fact that it didn't really make any difference to me what you think. I think I'm doing the right thing. You go play or sit. And you have enough from parents who feel like their gals ought to play all the time. So I felt like while I was doing it, maybe I was overboard with what I did. But when I listened to my guys when they're interviewed, and they don't even know I'm listening. I had but Melvin Cheatham spoke at Annette's service the other day. He asked to speak, and boy was he good. Each one of the boys spoke 15 minutes, and he spoke, and he spoke of her, making him a birthday cake when he had never had one ever before by anybody. Little things like that. And so I think it's a combination of both. I've gone a long way trying to answer that, but I think it's a combination of both.
No, it was a great answer. A few more moments with Coach Wimp Sanderson joining us, courtesy of Craneworks on the Higginbotham Hotline. We did get a question from one of our listeners there in the Montgomery area that said, ask Coach about Buck Johnson and Chuck Person and their recruitment, and if there was ever a chance that both went or ended up at the same place?
Well, Buck Johnson, who?
Chuck Person,
Chuck Person,
the referee.
Yeah, I think Sonny got Pat to go see him at all when he was about to turn towards us. I'm not sure he liked me very much on the in-home on the visit, but I think Sonny got Pat to go visit with him. They didn't need to lose him, and they didn't. Kind of interesting in the Buck Johnson thing, and I've told this story, but that's okay. It's that kind of time of year. We couldn't do much with Buck Johnson. UAB had come in there and done a really good job with him, and his mother wanted him to go with us, and she ran him in the backyard with a broom, and was going to get after him. And I think Buck hears this, he'll laugh. And she, wanted him to go with us at Alabama, but we couldn't get it turned. And so I'm at the house on a Saturday. Leroy McClendon's my assistant. He calls me. He says, "Are you standing up?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Sit down. I just got a commitment from Buck Johnson, and he's going to sign with us." And he said, "I said, are you serious?" And he said, "There's only one stipulation." I thought, uh-oh. He said, he's got 2 other places he wants to visit before he signs. And I said, okay, that's no problem with that. So in the closing of the conversation, I said, how did you turn Buck? He said, it was his grandmother. She never said a word. She sat there and she rocked. She never said anything. She watched the coaches come in. She watched the coaches talk. She watched, she didn't know everything was said, but she understood a little bit. And she told Buck, "Y'all go to Alabama." So he did, and he did a good job for me. I don't think that Buck really enjoyed playing for me. And I say that, and I think Buck would tell you that. I think he had a hard time playing for me. But he was awfully good, an awfully good player, and he's done well now. So that's a story I've told before, but we're at that point in life anyway.
Well, we got new listeners, and a lot of people have not heard that story. He is the coach, Wimp Sanderson, and Coach, you're presented every single Friday by our good friends at Craneworks.
Well, Craneworks is outstanding. They'll build it, they'll knock it down, build it back up. They'll have operators come in and help you with what you build back up, and they'll do a great job. Craneworks.com. You need to get on there and look at it. David and them are terrific. They're terrific people. They do a great job for the communities wherever they advertise, whether it's Mobile or Huntsville or Birmingham, wherever it might be. They do a good job for you. And Rental Works as well. If they involved with Rental Works, they will send in an operator to help you with Rental Works. I've gone through that a little bit, to try to help myself. So Craneworks, Rental Works, Waste Works as well. Third thing, you take that waste out of there. They're great people. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Coach, we appreciate you. We enjoyed the visit. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Coach Wimp Sanderson, presented by Craneworks on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. We continue. Barrett Salee, 14 minutes away. What's going on in Atlanta? What are they going to do? Should they just cancel the rest of their schedule? We continue on 3 Man Front. 10:50, 3-man front on a Friday. Always appreciate the visit by Coach Wimp Sanderson. Barrett Salee, Braves Radio Network pre- and post-game host, who is very candid with his comments. He doesn't pump sunshine when there's no sunshine to be found, just darkness and doom for the Atlanta Braves, who once again blew a 6-run lead in the 9th inning yesterday. The first time that they had blown such a lead since July 17th of 1972 against the New York Mets.
Yeah, anytime you hear something happen for the first time in 53 years, you hope it's a good thing. And unfortunately, in this case, it certainly was not. But we do have coming up in just a minute, we'll have Barrett Salee get his thoughts on what's going on with the Braves right now. We also have some big injury news in college football that we'll share with you momentarily.
Yeah, if you're ready for summer fun, Poorhouse Branch Marina at Smith Lake. It's the only boat dealer with Avalon pontoons. They're known for luxury, comfort, and performance, and you pair it with the most fuel-efficient engine from Honda Marine. Get in-house financing. See it all at PoorhouseBranchMarina.com. That's PoorhouseBranchMarina.com.
So some big injury news in the college football world announced this morning. Fortunately, not affecting anybody here in the SEC. He used to play in the SEC, but now he plays for Oregon, and that would be star wide receiver Evan Stewart, who is one of the bigger names in the transfer portal a season ago, if you remember that, when he left Texas A&M. When Jimbo Fisher was on the outs. So he is now at Oregon. Had a pretty solid year this year, but he has now been announced that he has torn his patellar tendon. And the severity of the injury remains unknown right now, but just based on estimates on the, I guess, more positive, optimistic side, he could be back in as few as 3 months. So that would put him back in line, maybe week 2, week 3, would he be 100%? But on the bad side, if it is a severe injury,
A full rupture.
a full year is how long it will take him to recover. So we would be talking about Mr. Stewart probably in the NFL the next time that we see him suiting up. So big news there for Oregon, as their star receiver Evan Stewart potentially could miss this entire upcoming season.
Yeah, last year for the Ducks, 48 catches, 613 yards, and 5 touchdowns. That's almost 13 yards per catch. You would have rather had other news if you were Dan Lanning, just being able to count on that guy, and that was a lot of production. And he's a tough guy to defend, but not good news for Evan Stewart. So hopefully the recovery is a quick one.
Yeah. You never want to see something like that, but I mean, he was in line to take over as the number one guy there in Eugene this year, and so hopefully he's able to get back on the field. That's a guy that I've admired watching him since he was at Texas A&M. I know there were rumors that he was going to transfer to Alabama before he ended up at Oregon. I think that's a guy that anybody would have been happy to add to their roster last year, and so you just hope that this isn't the last time we see him playing college football. But glad to know those NIL checks are still going to clear for him, even if he's on the sideline injured. Yeah, that gives him a little bit of
that's right,
a little bit of wiggle.
That's your insurance policy these days. A lot of those guys, high-profile guys, especially guys that go to Oregon. Yeah, you're going to be okay.
Oh yeah, well I mean, and we all remember
worst case scenario, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, and we remember, like I know Johnny Manziel, for example, didn't they take out like a $10 million insurance policy on his legs, where if he had a leg injury, you're going to be taken care of one way or the other. So yeah, I'm sure they're good. I think Phil will take care of Evan Stewart.
Yeah. Text line is open, 205-834-9450. Always the best way for you to interact with us. First one on Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers. This one reads, Rodgers gets a leg cramp before opening day, never plays a snap all season. It could happen.
What if he's really good? What if he's prime Aaron Rodgers again? Molly's shaking her head. She doesn't have any faith.
I just can't wait for October. I think the end of the month is when we get the Packers visiting the Steelers.
Oh, so we get Steelers, Jets, and Steelers, Packers
I
this year?
believe. I looked last night. I think we do.
Oh, that's just awesome. That is just incredible. I bet he lights it up against the Jets. A little chip on his shoulder?
Yeah.
Sprinkle a little ayahuasca in his Gatorade?
Yes. October 26th, the Packers and the Steelers.
Yes. I can't wait.
Do you have all your faculties together when you do the ayahuasca?
I have no idea. I've never done it before.
You never done it? Could that be your next challenge here on the show?
To do ayahuasca?
Yeah. Ayahuasca.
Isn't it just like mushrooms?
Yeah. Are there different ways that you can consume it?
I'm sure there are. We'll get Aaron on the show. We'll ask him.
Snort you a mushroom. $11 o'clock, the Friday edition of Three Man Front. Landrum, Conrad, and Molly. We'll jump right into it. Braves lose again yesterday. A ninth inning collapse. They blow a 9-3 lead. First time that they have lost a 6-run lead in the ninth inning since July 17th of 1972 against the Mets. I was not around for that, nor was our next guest, Barrett Salee. He is the pre- and post-game host and does a fine job there on the Braves radio network. Barrett, quite the year for the good Lord to place you in the spot that you are in, and being the first and the last voice that we hear on the network. The 0-7 start, I know that people tried to blame you for that. I don't blame you for any of this. I feel bad for you. You got a really cool job, but it's not a cool job right now watching the baseball we're watching.
Last night or yesterday afternoon, I just tried to steer the ship until the network signed off. It was historic, like you said. It hadn't happened in my lifetime, hadn't happened in your lifetime.
And how much bad baseball have we seen? That's what I was telling Conrad. You put that into context.
Yeah.
I grew up on bad baseball with the Braves.
I did too. And it was almost like jaw dropping. Like my jaw just kept dropping slowly. I wouldn't say it was death by 1,000 cuts. It was just astonishment for 15 straight minutes building. I've never seen anything like that. Ever. And is it rock bottom? The players said yes, but we also said that before that game, after the game on Wednesday night. So I hope it's rock bottom because, look, you can't truly fix yourself until you hit rock bottom, right?
Yeah.
I hope that's it. And we've said that multiple times this year, though. So there are positives to take out of it. I know you hate to hear that, and a lot of people hate to hear that and probably don't believe me. But think of it this way, and this is what I was thinking driving home from the stadium yesterday. And I was listening to our station, the local, after the network signed off, and Matt Chernoff and Heath Klein were on there, and Matt put it in proper perspective, and it was something I was thinking walking to my car. When was the last time you seen the offense do that?
Good point.
2023,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So the only two parts of the game that were horrible were Scott Blewett and Raisel Iglesias, right? That's the only two. Those are the only two. Aaron Bummer came in a huge spot and saved Grant Holmes. The offense was fantastic. Runners in scoring position, which we hadn't seen, all year. They were awesome with runners in scoring position. The bullpen was great up until those final two. Everything went right. Everything except Scott Blewett and Raisel Iglesias. So, if that offense is what we see or close to, that should be the norm or at least close to it, right? So if that continues, if they build off that, then you hide a lot of warts. Not all of them and not all the time, but you hide a lot of them. So, Raisel's not going to be the closer anymore. Smith didn't say that, specifically, but he's not going to be the closer anymore. Blewett's going to get released. I don't think that's official yet. But
who do you think is that guy for Raisel, if you would share?
Well, I think at this point it's all hands. I think Pierce Johnson would get a lot of it. He's not typical closer because he's more curveball, but he's done it in the past. I think Dylan Lee would get a look. If Craig Kimbrell comes up, I never thought he'd be a closer. I thought he'd be a 6th, 7th inning guy. But now at this point, you have to throw him in there. He's been great. He was great with Columbus. He was great at Gwinnett. If he comes up today, sure, let him do it. I think in a situation like this, maybe somebody like that who has lost a step, and I think we'd all agree, Kimbrell's older and he's lost a little bit, which is normal. But if he has, that's fine. Have a guy that comes in that's a bulldog, right? That's just going to take nothing. He's not going to put up with this crap anymore, and go out there and let him be the closer, even if he has lost a little bit on his fastball. Maybe his mindset and his experience plays a lot more now than it would have 3-4 weeks ago. So I think it'll be, kind of closer by committee until somebody steps up. And in my mind, I think it will probably be Dylan Dodd and Kimbrell/Pierce Johnson.
All right, Barrett, what National Treasure movie did you watch last night?
Both of them. They were on AMC. Honestly, those movies come on TV every time I need them, right? Like I got home and I was like, all right, here's 4 hours well spent. I'm in. And,
I was just telling Landrum I got a kick out of imagining you driving home from doing the radio broadcast and being miserable and going, you know what would cheer me up right now? Nicolas Cage stealing the Declaration of Independence. That's what I need to turn my week around.
It's so funny that you watched that because I comforted myself in something I haven't watched in forever. I watched Harry Potter.
There you go. See, we're on the same wavelength, Landrum. You and I, we saw each other last week at the game, and I was like, you know what? I think we're on the same wavelength. And the fact that we both come home and watch just cheesy, awesome movies, I think is proof that we're connected and we are well adjusted or not well adjusted. I don't know, but we're on the same level.
I wanted to find something that was as far away from baseball as I could. Now, Quidditch.
So wizardry.
Yeah, Quidditch. That was more football and soccer to me, up in the air on a broomstick.
Okay. So you watched wizardry. I watched theft of historic documents.
That's where we are right now, Barrett.
I just love that was what cheered you up last night. Barrett was National Treasure. That's awesome.
They're good movies. They are.
They are good. They are good.
Barrett Sallee, Braves pre- and post-game host there on the network, joining us here on Three Man Front. All of our guests join us on the Higginbotham hotline. I brought it up yesterday, and I don't know what the future is for Brian Snitker. I respect him first and foremost, Barrett, as a human being, as a man. I respect everything that he has done and appreciate the World Championship and leading that organization. But if this is the final year, and I know that he said that he would like to potentially keep going. I don't know if he said that here lately, but I did see a comment prior to the start of the season. I don't want to put you in an uncomfortable spot, but in that realm, what could you potentially foresee happening? And then what are some names? I threw out, of course, the easy one, Ron Washington. Bring him back. That's the personality we need right now. But can you maybe expound a little bit on what you could potentially see happening?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to fire him. I don't think they'd ever fire him.
Right.
If he decides to leave, he decides to leave. If he's kind of pushed out, I don't think they will. And honestly, like, I keep going back to this. What's he supposed to do?
Yeah.
Right? If these are men inside of a batter's box. He's not doing it. He can't do anything. And Tim Hires can't do anything when they're in there. They have meetings before each series. They go through, philosophies and plans for each pitcher that they might see. And, at that point, it's on the individual. So I don't know what making a coaching change at any level, whether it be position coach, fielding coach, hitting coach, or manager, I don't really know what that would accomplish. Because I think, and I said this on the podcast that's coming up now, coming up today, that, this is a different sport. It's not like football. If a quarterback makes a bad throw, a receiver can bail him out, right? If an offensive lineman misses a block, a running back can help him out. If you're in that box and you make a mistake, it's on you. It's not on Tim Hires. It's not on Brian Snitker. It's not on anybody. It's on you. So, I just don't know what, letting Brian Snitker go and promoting Walt Weiss, like, what is that going to do? I just don't think it's going to do anything. Now, whenever, he moves on, which I think, he's older, so I think it's fair to start wondering, hey, when is that going to happen? Ron Washington would be great. I think Mark DeRosa would be great. I think he wants it. So I think there'll be plenty of takers, that's for sure.
So, Barrett, I know we still have a little bit of time before the All-Star break and of course, the trade deadline, but just based on the trends right now, I know we've talked to you about this in the past couple of weeks, but would you expect the Braves to be in maybe more of a seller's mindset now with the way that the season's starting to go? I would imagine Ozuna, Murphy, and some of those guys would probably be pretty enticing if they were made available.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you can't be buyers. The only reason you can be sellers right now, the only teams that are sellers are like the Rockies, and maybe that's it. The only teams that could solidify themselves as buyers are like the Dodgers and the Yankees and, maybe Cubs and Phillies and Mets or whatever. It's June 9th or June 6th, right? There's plenty of time. And the thing is, if you're around 500 at the deadline, you're still in it. The Braves were under 500. And I know you look back and you say, okay, well, the division was down and all that stuff. And that's true. But do the Braves need to win the division? No, they don't. So I just think that you have to keep, at this point right now, all options are on the table. or no options are on the table at this point. Maybe it's that's how you term it. But the thing about it is if the Braves are, if they're buyers, they don't really have, a deep farm system. So what are they going to offer? I don't think you really can do an awful lot. You can try if they do want to buy, but I think you're with the guys that brought you there, and I don't think they're going to start selling any of those guys because a lot of them have long-term benefits. So not to answer your question, I don't think they're going to be either. I really don't. I think they're just going to stand pat and say, okay, these are the guys that brought us here. We can win with these guys. Let's see if we can do it. And it's not really can we do it. It's if there is enough time left. And I still think there is. We ran the numbers, and I know it changed after yesterday's loss. We ran the numbers pregame. They have to be as good as the Yankees have been all year, and a little better than what the Phillies, Mets, Cubs, and Dodgers have been this year. That's a tall task to get to 90 wins. Because that would get to 90 wins. It's a tall task. They have the firepower to do it. It just has to show up.
Joe Simpson, and part of the network, he came and talked to us, and this is something he said publicly on the broadcast. I was not aware of it because I was in attendance for last Saturday's game, and what a great game that was. Maybe the best that we'll see all season. But what he was asked about was his comments about Walker Buehler showing emotion, and he said, that's good to see. That's refreshing. And he said, yeah, that was pointed. I was talking about. He said, when's the last time you saw a Brave strike out or have something that didn't go their way, with the exception of Matt Olson? And I added that because we saw what he did in the dugout the other night, but really get upset. Mm-hmm. And it just seems like emotion-wise, and I know that's not everything, but body language. You start looking for answers, and you tune into a game. There's not a whole lot there versus some of the personalities, versus some of the Braves teams we've seen in the past. Is everything copacetic in the Braves clubhouse with some of those personalities and teammates, or is there something else potentially going on?
I mean, I haven't heard anything, and from what I've seen, I haven't seen anything. Poor Marcell Ozuna, man, I don't know how many strikes have been called that are 4 or 5 inches off the plate with that dude. There was one at the end of the game Friday maybe, where, I think, and I wanted him to just throw his helmet down and be like, okay, enough's enough. That's not really his personality. But I do think it'd be okay if someone did go Walker Buehler a little bit and maybe just tell everybody, hey, we're not going to put up with this anymore from just from a bad call standpoint. Not necessarily firing the team up, but pointed at something that happens. If someone slams their helmet down, okay, fine, get ejected. See if that does anything. It might. So I wouldn't be upset if that happened. I don't think I'd be upset if somebody gets into an argument, gets tossed, especially if it's late in the game. Cool, I'm in. How much does that help? I don't know. I think it does depend on personality. And, the thing about stuff like that is you can't fake it, right? You can't fake it. If Austin Riley does that, Austin's like one of the calmest dudes in the world. I'd be like, okay, either you're really mad or you're faking it. One of the two. And so hopefully he would be really mad and did it. So, yeah, stuff like that could help.
So you do now have to go to San Francisco this weekend, Bear, a big series against the Giants, who have been pretty good this year. What are your realistic expectations? Just quick thoughts on the matchup this weekend for the Braves.
Well, the Giants hadn't been great either, and they just reached. I don't know how many moves they made, but I think they're making a ton of moves. I don't know if they've. I saw it reported. I think it was Nightingale said they've made like 3 or 4 moves today. I don't know if those are official or anything, but they're kind of in a mess too. The pitching matchups don't favor the Braves, I don't think, all that much, but. The offense is the offense. They found a bunch of green grass yesterday at Truist, and there's a bunch of green grass at 8th or Oracle, whatever it is now. So it's a big series, obviously. They all are now. But I think they'll be okay. I think if they take 2 of 3, they'll be fine because I believe yesterday was a game that the offense needed and they can build off of, and they know it because those guys are pretty pragmatic down there. And I know folks hate to hear that sometimes because, like, it's coach speak or it's player speak or whatever. But I think with those guys and those personalities, it's true. They saw the pluses. They understand what went well yesterday because there are a lot of things that did.
What does your schedule look like on those West Coast games? Are you slamming coffee? What are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, I already woke up. I did some errands. I got a workout in, and then I'm probably gonna take a nap here in a couple hours. Just prepare a little bit because I won't get back probably till 2:30ish. So.
Okay. Well, look, you're doing a wonderful job.
Well, thank you. Tomorrow and Sunday are 4:00 games. So I think the next bad ones we have for me, I think we have 2 in Sacramento that are 10:05 or 10:15, and those are I think the last 2 10:00 games that we have.
Oh. Okay. Well, at least you're getting paid,
bad.
right?
Yeah, we have energy. We have a whole fridge full of energy drinks at the studio, so we're good to go.
There you go.
And,
he is,
and I use that a lot.
I'm sure. Barrett Sallee, he is the pre and post game host there of the Braves Radio Network. You can find him not only here on Jocks 94.5, but a host of Jock stations. Barrett, we always appreciate the time. Thank you. There's a lot more questions, but I'll save them for next time. Hopefully, the next time we visit, they're better.
You know what, Landrum? It's gonna turn around today. You know it, and I know it. Positivity.
And, hey, just in real time, 9-3 yesterday. Molly played the clip of Major League where they say, "Well, there's only one thing left to do: go out and win the whole blanking thing." And then that's when they scored.
We jumped the gun.
Dang it, Molly.
Landrum wanted me to do it. Don't look at me.
No, that's fair. I prompted her to do it.
And I edited it. I bleeped it out for him and everything.
Yep.
Still let me
So
down.
All right, that's Molly's fault.
Should have unbleeped it.
I'm blaming Molly.
Yeah, I like my job, Conrad.
I know.
All right.
Y'all have an FCC license to protect?
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe. Yeah. Most days. Barrett, we always appreciate the time, my friend. Thank you. Go Braves.
Go Braves. Bye, guys.
See ya. Barrett Sallee, Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. A lot of texts rolling in as Barrett was visiting with us. We'll get to all of your texts as we continue. It's the Friday edition, 3-man front. We are Jocks 94.5. This is my tribute song to my Atlanta Braves, your Atlanta Braves. Jazz hands, Conrad. Very nice. Understand. Always a fun visit with Barrett Sallee, the Braves Radio Network.
Oh, yeah. Especially
Braves Nation,
this
Yankee
year.
Nation, Detroit Tiger Nation, St. Louis Cardinal Nation, whatever team you pull for. There's a good chance, unless it's the Rockies, that you're having a much better go of it than I am. Of course, Rockies fans, you're riding high after the 3-game sweep. Go take care of business against the Mets.
Oh, that would be awesome. You would certainly like to see that.
All hope is not lost with Barrett.
I appreciate his optimism, and it seems genuine. It doesn't seem I kind of have to be optimistic because of the nature of my job. He genuinely seems to believe that things are going to turn around at any second.
That Rysel Iglesias bobblehead that they were okay, full disclosure.
Yeah, people are going to go get those and decapitate them.
We went to Affiliates Day, and they always will have some bobbleheads that they've set aside from past promotions, and you had the Marcell Ozuna bobblehead in the City Connect white with the blue, like the jersey I have.
Yeah.
And he's got his arms open wide.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it looks like happy Big Bear Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah.
Then you have Rysel Iglesias and his bobblehead. The Ozunas, everybody grabbed those.
Oh, I'm sure.
Dorothy felt bad for Rysel Iglesias.
So got one of those.
I was like, maybe it's a bobblehead. I don't think he knows. She was like, no, I just, I feel bad. He did well for the Braves last year. So we got that one. But now I'm just hearing Barrett. I'm like, do I pull him out of the collection? Because I've got my little collection of Braves players in my sports room.
Yeah.
In their little area. So I don't know if I pull him.
So you'll appreciate this. So my uncle, he has I'm assuming he still has it, but he went to a Cubs game one time, and this was, years and years and years ago, and they were doing Sammy Sosa bobblehead night. And so he has a Sammy Sosa Cubs bobblehead, and he took a drill and corked the bat on the bobblehead for Sammy Sosa's bobblehead, and that's what he has on display in his house. It was awesome. I got a big kick out of that growing up.
So outside of the stadium, there was a line. There was a big line waiting, and you can get, I guess they take your picture and they put your picture on a bobblehead, but
people
were
for
buying
that?
them. Yeah. So the bobblehead, you've got the outline player's face, hat, whatever pose, pitching, fielding, batting, and then they will take an instant picture of you, and then they will place it in that spot.
That's kind of cool.
It's really not.
Oh.
I couldn't believe.
Does it look creepy?
The weight. Yeah, and it just it doesn't
like you don't
really
want your
fit.
own bobblehead?
But people are paying money for these things, and if you're one of those people, I'm not judging. I'm just saying I wouldn't stand in line and pay money for that.
Apparently, there's a number of websites online where you can do that. Oh, these are creepy looking.
Yeah. Well, so was the action figure generator that you did for us.
Yeah, that was creepy looking.
Earlier this year. 205-834-9450. The text line is open, and this one rolls in from Mike. He says, I was born in Arkansas with family from Louisiana, so been a Hogs and Tiger fan, Tigers, for life. Baseball at both has always mattered. What Butch Thompson has done at Auburn is fantastic, and people should respect him for all he's done. It's difficult to build a baseball program when you don't have the resources others in your conference have. Great job, Butch. Mike from Shreveport. Mike, thank you so much.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at where this team was last year compared to this year. I mean, that's a complete 180. It's remarkable.
And going to the Auburn people, and you've got a guy in John Cohen who was a very successful college baseball coach,
Mississippi State, yeah,
prior to becoming an administrator and a director of athletics. And go to him, you say, hey, this is the climate. And that's certainly a guy that gets it. You go to the people who are donating and say, look, we appreciate your efforts in donating to football, earmarking for basketball, much needed, but baseball got left behind. Just look at last year. And then look at some of those pieces that they've been able to add, and you've got some nice freshman pieces as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been done an incredible job. And now, again, I mean, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. you get the football program rolling, and it's hard to find a school that would be better than Auburn, just kind of all around with what they've been able to accomplish in basketball, baseball, and now potentially in football this fall.
Dave texted in, and he said at Camden Yards, they used to have a deal, not sure if it's still this way. When you bought a certain club level seat, you got entry into a club in the warehouse building behind right field, which was the old orphanage that Babe Ruth was brought up in.
Mm-hmm.
Landrum, they had the same thing in the men's room there where you could keep watching the game while using the urinal.
That's very cool. I've been to Camden Yards a few times. I've never been inside the warehouse.
You've been to Camden Yards?
Yeah, my family, my dad's family's from Baltimore.
And I know your dad's a big Baltimore Orioles fan.
Yeah, I've been to a bunch of Orioles games. He went to the same high school, I guess it was a boarding school back then, as Babe Ruth, actually.
Drove on the outside when we went, where were we? Oh, it was going to play, we went to play Navy at the Naval Academy.
Yeah.
Last year, and drove outside of whatever the football stadium's name is now, and Camden Yards.
Mm-hmm.
And Camden Yards, that's bucket list. Camden, Fenway, Wrigley. Been on the outside of Wrigley on a non-game day.
Yeah.
But I want to watch games in those. And I guess Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, no, those are good ones. I would love to go to Fenway and Wrigley because I haven't been there. But that was another thing that Jim Cott said. If you caught that during the breakfast the other day, he said that Camden Yards in his eyes was kind of like the benchmark. That was the benchmark of Major League ballparks was Camden Yards.
Basically appreciating the past,
yeah,
incorporating with the new.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned some of the stadiums now, they're built like just theaters.
Yeah, and
Which I can appreciate to a point.
Absolutely, and they're beautiful to look at. They have a great atmosphere, but there is something about the older ballparks that just you feel the history of it. And Camden Yards certainly one.
Have you been to New Yankee Stadium?
I have not. I've only been to the old one.
I would have loved to have gone to the old one, but the new one I hear is really, really nice.
Yeah, I would. That is certainly something that I would.
Old Tiger Stadium,
like to do.
I would have liked to have done that too.
Yeah, me too.
That was a big ballpark.
But I love Comerica. I know I'm biased, but it's my favorite of the ones I've been to. It's by far my favorite.
Well, it should be. You get to sit right behind home plate,
and the giant tigers on the outside are awesome.
Remember when we saw her on video?
Oh,
they
yeah,
had
she was just
the
casually
game winner,
like, this is where I am watching
and she's
the game.
right behind home plate, and she tried to sell us on the idea that her mom just found tickets that were on sale.
No, I'm serious. It was a Memorial Day sale going on.
That is so bogus, Malls.
I'm serious.
It's so bogus.
I will say, though, I am sad that those seats don't exist anymore. During the off season, they made that like VIP seating, and they're
so we can't have the Molly Robinsons of the world back here.
Did you see that really hyper blonde, her family that was sitting here?
Well, it was funny because that game, it was against the Blue Jays, and it went into extra innings. And Matt Vierling hit a walk-off home run, and you can see me in the corner praying, please, 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 please. And I stand up, and you can see me standing up because I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's awesome. Speaking of, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, speaking of tickets, you mentioned this yesterday, and it was just announced officially for the Birmingham Stallions for the next 48 hours. If you want tickets for Sunday, no fees attached. Go visit them online, get the tickets. Landrum said it yesterday, but now that is active, so no excuse not to be a protective.
Molly, we've been to games with you, but when you go with your family, you have your coffee day, your iced coffee day. And it's typically on a Friday, and you are wired and you're ready to go. Do you do cotton candy at a game? Feels like they might have to limit how much sugar intake you have.
See, every time I go to a ball game, I usually get a beer and a hot dog.
Okay.
And then maybe I know Conrad can't eat these, but peanut M&Ms. Those are my favorite.
That's his next.
I've heard those
challenge.
are good.
They're very good.
That's my next.
And then EMTs will be challenged with bringing him back to life.
That's right.
Or the little
it's
ice
really
cream
the Gary challenge, honestly.
that comes in the helmet, you know?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love those.
See, I was about to say I'm never gonna just want Dippin' Dots, but if I'm at a game and I see it, I'm like, I don't want Dippin' Dots.
Yes.
Even though it's expensive, it's overpriced.
It's part of the experience.
Yeah. Certain things that I want when I go to a game.
Yeah, funnel cake. If they have funnel
cake, that's a good one.
Nachos, a dog.
I always get a hot dog.
Pretzel, but I don't want to eat the whole thing.
No.
I have to share it. Yeah, I have to share it.
Got to share the pretzel.
Mustard and cheese sauce. And definitely salt.
Cotton candy is just such an odd concept to me. And I understand for
a
kid.
It gets like sticky too.
Yeah, for a kid, it's great because it's literally just sugar. But the concept of it is just, it doesn't taste good. It's sticky. It's hard to eat.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sugar. But I guess that's why it's for kids and not adults.
True.
And Molly.
And me.
But hey, if you like cotton candy, knock yourself out.
Get at it, right?
Knock yourself out, yeah.
How about our friends at Mystic Beverage? Mystic Beverage, speaking of a pick-me-up, you can do it with a Lift Blend. It's sparkling water that's made in Blount County, Alabama, infused with various cannabinoids to help you achieve whatever vibe you're trying to achieve. I go with a Lift Blend. It's got the green coffee bean extract, and it's awesome for a day where maybe it's a long work day, you got a heavy workload, or on the weekends or just time at home, you don't want to consume alcohol. You can go with this. But it's not only the Lift Blend. They've got the High Hills, Delta 9, the Nirvanic. Check out mysticbeverage.com. You can find the selection at all of your local Piggly Wigglies, mysticbeverage.com. We appreciate our friends there. And the Southern Berry and the Mango, those are my two go-to flavors, but they also have the watermelon and the blood orange. We appreciate those folks as well. We continue to roll on here on Three Man Front on this Friday. We got Molly's Movie Minute coming up in the next hour as she reviews Office Space, and the voting is still in and going on right now what movie she's going to review next week. We continue. It's Three Man Front and Jocks 94.5. Friday edition of Three Man Front. As we continue, appreciate your text. We will get to more of your text throughout the show. Barrett Salee in this hour talking Braves. Very interesting, some of the comments from Barrett as they take it on the road. You can hear the Braves on the Jocks Network family of stations all weekend long. You've got the late first pitch tonight as they take on the San Francisco Giants. Also a late first pitch tonight for the Auburn Tigers as they host Coastal Carolina, the first game of that Super Regional, and Auburn already making enhancements, adding some seating, and that's going to be a sellout and a great environment for baseball. We already got baseball going on right now in Chapel Hill, a part of that super regional. Arizona taking on North Carolina. Arizona scratched for 1 in the top of the first inning. North Carolina promptly answers with 5. In the bottom half, 5-1, North Carolina will keep you updated on that as super regional play continues.
Well, we have a long summer of heat and humidity ahead, so keep your home comfortable with Trane, America's most reliable HVAC brand. And to give you more peace of mind, Trane is offering up to 10-year warranties on parts and labor on select home comfort systems. So to learn more about this offer and to find a specialist near you, visit Trane.com.
We do have the text line open, 205-834-9450. Going back to the Braves, Gavin, who's a big Braves fan, also a big Georgia fan, said the most frustrating moment as a fan for me is every time the Dogs tee it up against the Tide, except January 10th of 2022. That would be the exception.
That one did go in your favor, yeah.
You gotta
Joy Hall.
You got to throw that Bulldog a bone every now and then.
Yeah, I just wish I had been that one.
Yeah.
But I guess we had to win the one the week before, otherwise you wouldn't have been in the playoffs, so.
We did our tribute to today being the anniversary of D-Day from back in 1944. JB from PC says Shug Jordan was part of the D-Day landings. Certainly was.
Really? I did not know that. That's awesome.
Shug Jordan.
Wow.
Yeah, yes, sir. He's a great man.
Yeah.
And from folks that used to cover him or knew him, I know my dad, he was very fond of him. Shug Jordan just went out of his way to be nice to folks.
Yep, we all need more of that.
Which is not always the case these days with everybody, not just coaches. Connor says, I'm a huge Pittsburgh fan. I'm just ready for them to trade up in the draft next season and get a franchise quarterback again. In case you missed it, Aaron Rodgers, the wait is over. 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did, I guess, say that they're going to have to trade up because we all know the Mike Tomlin special. You're going to go 9-8 this year and have about the 14th pick in the draft and have to make some moves there. But yeah, I mean,
what number is Rodgers? Is he 8, 12?
He is. I mean, traditionally number 12. He was number 8 with the Jets. I'm trying to think if there's a number 12 on the.
What was Terry Bradshaw
on the Steelers? I do not know. Is it number 12 retired? No, they have not. It was Terry Bradshaw's number, but no, it has not officially been retired. But okay, according to multiple sources, Aaron Rodgers not expected to wear number 12 in Pittsburgh. It says, okay, never mind. I thought I was going to say he was going to be number 18, but they don't know what number he'll be. So probably number 8.
They go with like a Mike Tomczak number.
I think Will Howard is number 18, so that one's taken.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that Will Howard got drafted there.
That's the quarterback right there.
Yeah, they said he'll probably stick with number 8 because, of course, the reason he wasn't 12 with the Jets is because that was Broadway Joe's number, and that one is retired. So, poor Aaron Rodgers. He'll have to go with the old single digits.
Landrum, no matter how many times you say the Braves blew the lead, it won't make it hurt any less, my friend. No. Also, back to Barrett watching National Treasure. You said you like those movies. I like them too. New on Apple is a movie very similar to National Treasure, The Fountain of Youth, with John Krasinski and Natalie Portman. I've seen it. Not as good, but pretty good. Yeah, it's good.
Oh, you have seen it?
Yeah.
I saw a trailer or something for it.
I'm finding ways to occupy my time,
I can
Conrad.
see that. No, I can see that.
I'm catching up on a lot of stuff with the Braves.
So I'm curious for y'all, going back to National Treasure, because I don't know, did y'all have, when you were growing up, and you know the days where you'd have, whether, you know, the teacher just wasn't feeling it or you had a sub and they'd wheel the TV in there. For me, National Treasure, I must have seen that movie 100 times in school. That was always the go-to movie. If we ever had a movie day at school, our teachers would put on one of the National Treasure movies. So I didn't know if y'all had one.
No. We didn't get cool movies. We got
like Schoolhouse Rock and stuff.
We got very low production documentaries at best.
Okay.
I feel like we would watch Shrek.
Okay.
We didn't get any of that. We didn't get any of that.
No.
Now, they would roll the TV in, but it would be something that was a poor man's PBS.
But you never had, substitute teacher day, and they just wheel in, and it's like, we're going to watch a fun movie. Never had that?
No.
Do you remember Brain Pop?
Brain
Did you ever have
Pop.
to watch those? With the guy and
I
the
feel like
robot
that
that used to
sound-
explain things?
Yes.
Yes, I didn't know if that was-
Yes.
When you were in school, too.
Oh no, I remember that.
I used to love Brain Pop.
Look up Brain Pop.
Yeah, I had completely forgotten about that. Yeah, we watched that. I mean, it was kind of ironically when we got older, but we would request to watch VeggieTales because we thought it was funny that we were in high school and we would watch VeggieTales and stuff. But yeah, National Treasure was always the go-to. Movie for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I watched Nicolas Cage steal that Declaration of Independence a number of times.
This text rolls in. Some people, and I think it's very foolish of them, are talking about the Braves changing managers. From the outside looking in, I don't think that Snitker is any of the problem. He's a big part of the solution, a very good manager. No, I agreed with all of that. I just asked the question, if they did move on, what direction would they potentially be going? Ron Washington would maybe be a name, but Mark DeRosa, and that's a name that Pat brought up. When I asked him who would be some of those hot board, I threw out David Ross. I don't know if David Ross would want to do that or not, if the Braves would have interest, but Mark DeRosa.
David Ross would be a great name.
Still involved in, I think Ron Washington. I did not realize that Ron Washington is 75, as I'm reminded.
How old?
Mike could help turn the Braves around, but wouldn't be there long, says one of our listeners.
How old is Dusty Baker? Okay, he's the same age. Okay. Yeah, that would be tough with Wash. I mean, you could get, and I guess maybe that's why he was only on that 2-year deal in Anaheim, is he doesn't know how long he's going to want to do it. And do you want a guy that's going to be a short-term solution there? And that's it.
Trip text in from South Florida, and he says the best thing about Barrett, he's busy now with our Braves, very busy, so we don't have to take his silly SEC picks. He picks LSU the majority of the time. I know his history as well as you do.
We were joking before Landrum went to Atlanta last week, and we were telling him he needs to ask Barrett if he's projecting LSU to win the national championship again this year.
Drake says, guys, if you ever get a chance to come to Hueytown, you guys need to try the barbecue restaurant named Uncle Sam's. It's the best. Thank you, Drake. We appreciate it.
Okay. Paige is from lived in Hueytown for a while. I have to see if she's ever been there.
Today, as we honor those who were there at Normandy on this anniversary, this listener said, not many WW2 vets still around. My uncle's still with us and served in World War II. He is 99 years young, lives in western Jefferson County. L.M. Creel is his name. He was a POW, captured twice by the Germans, was freed by Allied forces right before Germany surrendered. One of the greatest men I know. That definitely is the greatest generation. Well said. We continue this Friday edition of Three Man Front. A little college football talk. That'll be fun. Kind of get us ready for SEC Media Days. That's next on the docket in July as we head over to Atlanta and see some of these wild, crazy picks that people like ourselves in the media project. Three Man Front. Jocks 94.5. 11:48 here on Three Man Front. A little college football that we will get into is publications putting out their projections. You got magazines going on. Some of you might have already picked up your favorite college football magazine as you head down to the beach or the lake, or you just got some time. Is trying to pass some time during the summer, educate yourself. It's a lot harder to do these days because of the time that these things were printed, and a lot of that information goes in. And now with the two transfer portals, maybe that's what Kirby Smart was doing. Maybe he's got some seed money in one of these companies that we don't know about, Conrad, and Kirby's just trying to get accuracy.
I wouldn't put it past him.
But we will get into that. If you missed the news earlier, Evan Stewart, one-time Texas A&M Aggie, transferred to Oregon before last season, 48 catches, 613 yards, 5 touchdowns. He was going to be a big part of that offense. He still may be, but bad news on the patella tendon, right?
Yes. So he has suffered an injury with his patellar tendon. Not sure if it's going to be, or the severity of it. But the estimates already are anywhere from 3 to 12 months. So if it's not a serious injury, then 3 months. So he would be back hopefully early in the season, but there is the potential that he may be out for the entire season, and that would certainly be a big hit for an Oregon team that expects to be back in the playoff.
All right, talking college football, our friends at On3 and Ari Wasserman, he put out his list of potential SEC and Big Ten teams, and since we have a Big Ten representative, former Big Ten,
Molly's
trying to transition.
Love this list. She's going to love it.
But these are teams that Ari believes could shake up the college football playoff race in 2025.
Yeah. I saw that look you were just giving me. Just wait, Molly.
Shake it up.
Just
shake
wait.
It up.
Okay.
Or shake it off. Okay.
Good job.
The first one that he lists from the Big Ten, Illinois.
Yeah, that's not a big surprise.
No, yeah.
A lot of people talking them up.
He adds that everyone likes to try to bill Illinois as this year's Indiana. Though the main difference is the comparison is that Indiana truly did come out of nowhere. Illinois beat South Carolina in the Citrus Bowl to cap off the 10-win season. It's first since 2001. Brett Bielema's team returns basically everyone, including quarterback, former Hottie Toddy, Luke Altmaier. And the Illini added West Virginia's leading receiver, Hudson Clement, in the portal. They also returned their entire offensive line, cornerback Xavier Scott, and some other guys. Illinois, according to Ari Weissman, has a chance to be really, really good. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think they're going to be good. I think they're
10-2.
I think the Indiana comparison is really good, right? Because their schedule shapes up well. I know they avoid Oregon, Oregon, Penn State, and then either Michigan or Ohio State. So they don't have a very difficult schedule, all things considered, in the Big Ten. And I could totally see them being that team that we're having conversations. Oh, are they really deserving of being in the playoff? But because they won 10 games, they'll find themselves there. But yeah, I mean, I would think worst case for Illinois this year would be 8-4, and I would probably be more likely to go 9-3 or 10-2.
I mean, looking at their schedule, conference, it's Indiana, USC, Purdue, then Ohio State, then Washington and Rutgers, then Maryland, Wisconsin, and Northwestern. So I think
Oh, you guys dodge them this year?
we do. Thank goodness.
I was about to say, yeah. Ohio.
We always lose to
After
Illinois.
last year.
Ugh.
Got to make your field goals.
We got to do a lot of things better.
You do. That brings us to your team, Nebraska.
Yes. Thank you, Ari.
Ari throwing you a bone.
They're gonna
Nebraska.
shake it up.
Go Big Red.
Nebraska quarterback Dylan Raiola was so hyped at this time of last year. There's almost been an overcorrection on how much we're talking about him now. Very productive true freshman season. With a sophomore jump, Raiola still has a chance to be a star in this sport. Though college football playoff contention probably seems premature, Molly, at this
That's okay.
spot. Settle down.
That's okay.
Crazier things have happened, especially considering the Cornhuskers don't have a big-time non-conference game to potentially bog down their record.
Yeah, this is true.
You just want to be in the conversation, though, right?
Right.
I mean, obviously, you would love to be in the playoff, but being in the conversation, that would be a big step in the right direction.
We don't have Illinois. We don't have Oregon. We don't have Ohio State, but we do have Michigan.
Do you know? You want to know what your record's going to be? Me and Conrad will tell you right now.
Okay, tell me.
You open up with Cincinnati.
Win.
That's at Arrowhead, by the way.
That's at Arrowhead.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be cool. Win.
Win. Versus Akron.
Win.
Yeah, they can't make their grades. Versus Houston Christian. I'm going to give you that one.
Dub.
Versus Michigan, September 20th.
It's at home.
It's at Nebraska?
Yes. It's in Lincoln.
That's
versus. I will say at if it's a road game.
okay. I'd probably lean Michigan maybe right now.
See, I'm gonna take that as a loss.
Yeah.
Yes.
But maybe Bryce Underwood's
Okay.
no good.
But
And that's
so
the
you're
thing.
saying you're
Yeah.
going to take that as a loss. So we're 3-1 right now, Molly.
Which I'm perfectly fine.
We're
Now say
chugging
we.
along. That's good.
Yeah, because we're pulling for you.
I will take 3
We
and
can't
1.
use a.
We collectively are 3-1.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's better for the show if Molly's happy.
That's right.
I like being happy.
Michigan State versus Michigan State
Win.
versus.
I think that'll be a win.
Yeah, I'll give you a win. At Maryland, they were dreadful last year.
They were
Win. So we're 5-1.
At Minnesota.
See, Minnesota's
one's
one of those teams
tricky.
that we
Yeah.
always
Yep.
lose to.
Yep, you get a
We
little hot
always
dish. You
lose
get
to
some people there in that cold stadium.
We always lose to those dang Gophers.
Yep.
Well, okay, let's chalk it up as a loss and see where we're at the end. We'll just say that one's a loss for right now. So we're 5-2.
It's one of those teams we just always lose to.
Versus
That's a tough one.
Northwestern.
Win.
You got to, those smarties, they'll come out and they'll fight.
I think
Okay,
we're
but
gonna
you get them, I know.
Hey, we're going bowling right now. We're 6-2.
Versus USC, a lot of people think Lincoln Riley, they're about to turn that corner.
I'll take Nebraska right now.
I'm taking the Big Red.
Yeah.
At UCLA.
Oh, I hope we beat UCLA. I can't believe we lost to them last year. That game's in the Rose Bowl, too.
Hold Nico.
And with that game being in the Rose Bowl, it'll be mostly Nebraska fans.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take Nebraska right now on that one, too.
At Pennsylvania State University.
That's a loss.
Penn State.
Yeah.
Penn State.
And then versus Iowa.
That's a win.
So, I mean, right. I mean, seriously, though, like, I think 8-4 is more than reasonable for Nebraska.
If
If
you
we
don't
go
go
8
and
and 4, I might cry. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
8-4.
Like tears of joy.
Like, you'd be happy with 8-4, but also feel like maybe we left a little something out there.
No, I would be elated with 8 and 4.
Okay.
Can we have a show bet? If you
Sure.
guys don't win 7 games or more, you've got to buzz cut just the sides
No,
underneath your hair.
absolutely not.
Come on.
No, it's my hair.
Would you rather do that or
I
the
know
Kool-Aid
it's your
pickle?
hair.
Neither one.
We'll figure something out.
Which one would you be closer to accepting? The buzz?
Neither.
Come on,
It's
Molly.
my hair.
Come on, be a teammate.
What
be a
about the
sport.
one-chip challenge?
What did Ari say about the SEC? We find out next. Straight up 12 o'clock on a Friday. Hope everyone is doing well. The weather is nice outside. Expecting some storms maybe later on this evening through tomorrow, but it's not going to be a complete washout. And that's good news for the Birmingham Stallions because I was looking at the latest forecast. While rain is expected on Sunday, you might get some very, very early before you wake up or the wee hours before the sun comes up. But it looks like by the 2 o'clock kickoff, guys, that we should have good weather. And the Stallions taking on the Panthers, trying to win that USFL Conference Championship in order to play in the title game to win their 4th straight. Skip Holtz earlier in the week. But Conrad, you said tickets on sale right now, and they're waiving all fees.
That is correct. Yeah, you can go online, and if you want to go on X, Twitter, whatever you call it, you can go to the Stallions page, and they have a direct link there. But yeah, no fees. So I imagine, $10, $15? I know they're 10 in the regular season. I imagine they're the same for the postseason. But yeah, plenty available. Hope a lot of people can come out there and pack it out. We had a little over 10,000 a couple of weeks ago when Michigan came to town for the last home game of the regular season. So let's try to get above that, maybe 12 or 13,000 in Protective this Sunday for the playoffs.
Speaking of tickets, we had a listener that is down in Auburn right now. He was dropping his daughter off for a camp, and he sent me some ticket information. And I think that this is wild for a super regional. Right now, the cheapest ticket that they're showing for Auburn and Coastal Carolina tonight, cheapest ticket on this particular site, $63. That's before fees. That's before anything. Just put that in perspective for a college baseball game.
And it's also an 8 p.m. first pitch. Like, that's a late game for a lot of people as well. So that's wild. But, hey, that's good for Auburn. They're going to be able to pack it out, it looks like. And, we mentioned the additional seating they're going to have. Does it say, do we know how much those tickets cost out in right field, or those just fall under the general admission umbrella?
Conrad, I don't know. I could probably look at it. I don't know the sections of the field. I can just scroll on where they're lit up. I do not see any lit up from,
I see what you're
on
looking
this particular
at. Yeah.
site. But if you want a Molly Robinson Detroit Tigers home game seat right behind the plate, $716.
Oh, is that the new VIP
Goodness
section you were
gracious.
talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, that is a VIP section, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, and now they're good as well, so you can definitely charge a little more.
Yeah, and they
Yep.
used to have the tunnel there, and it's no longer there.
8 o'clock first pitch is Auburn host Coastal Carolina, winners of 21 straight, 51 games overall. Eric Guevara he might be limited, had the injury in the last regional and did not play against NC State, I don't believe. And Butch Thompson, just paraphrasing what Coach Thompson said, he said, might have one of those Kirk Gibson moments, but going to be limited, and they'll have to fill in the gaps. Meanwhile, speaking of the gaps, North Carolina Super Regional play is underway. The early start there in Chapel Hill, 8-1, they lead Arizona right now in the top of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, pretty good start for the Tar Heels there as they host Arizona, and they are absolutely cruising right now. If you're wondering, okay, so Auburn plays tonight, 8 p.m. first pitch for the Tigers. What about the rest of the SEC and Super Regionals? So you're going to have to wait until tomorrow for the other 3 SEC schools. So you're going to have LSU. They're hosting there in Baton Rouge as they will host the West Virginia Mountaineers. First pitch for them, 1 o'clock tomorrow for the LSU Tigers. And then at 2 o'clock will be the second game of Auburn and Coastal Carolina. And at 4 o'clock is when you'll get the all-SEC showdown there in Fayetteville between Arkansas and Tennessee. So back-to-back-to-back SEC matchups for your viewing pleasures tomorrow.
We will open it up to your phone calls before we get back in our college football discussion with On3 and some of the teams from the Big Ten who we went through some of those, and also the SEC that could shake up the college football playoff race. Let's go to your phone calls, and let's go to Scott. Scott, how are you?
Hey. I'd like to talk about the Atlanta Braves.
All right, let's do it.
Well, I know y'all probably cut them up all morning long, but I've been playing pickleball all morning, so I just now got in my truck. So
how did pickleball go?
Well, shoot, you better bring your A games. You're gonna beat me.
Yep. Don't and I did not know until recently about the momentum even after the shot. If it carries you into the kitchen, then that's a.
Oh yeah. No, I was teasing about that. We've got a group of elderly people, and we just have a great time with it.
Well, that's outstanding.
But getting back to the Braves. I mean, me and my wife, I mean, for the last 6 or 7 years, we have staged our lives around the Braves. I mean, well, you know, let's eat early so we can watch the Braves. And, you know, we don't watch every one of them, but, you know, we watch quite a bit. But I'm not saying I'm done organizing my day around the Atlanta Braves because I am frustrated with them. And I tell you what, it's the coaching. I mean, Glassay, whatever how you say his name, I mean, he couldn't get me out. You know, and they just keep putting him in there, I mean, Lord, if you're up 7 runs going in the 9th inning, I mean, there's no excuse. And if you have to put a starter in there to get that last out, you need a win.
That's right.
You can tell by my voice that I'm frustrated.
No, you should be frustrated, Scott. Barrett Sallee, he joined us. He's the host there. You probably heard him on this very station on the pre- and post-game show for the Braves Radio Network, and he said they haven't made this official yet, but Raisel Iglesias in the closer role, that's done. That they will be putting other guys in there. I tried to pinpoint who exactly that would be, and he said that there's a multitude of guys, that Pierce Johnson being number one, that they will try to put there, but I think that maybe his closer days are over, at least for the time being.
Well, why did it take him 3 weeks or 4 weeks to realize something that the average fan, you know, we focused on that a long time ago.
Well, you've invested in Iglesias and what he did last year, and you know his potential, and you're hoping that he can work out of whatever was causing it or whatever funk he has been in, but he has not been the same pitcher for sure. And I think yesterday, in addition to he and Blewett, which is so appropriate, by the way, of a last name.
Well, I don't want to take up all your time, but I was letting you know I'm a good supporter of them. You know, we've watched them, you know, all my life, actually, to be honest with you, and I'm an old man. So,
have you ever seen the movie National Treasure?
Oh, was that Nicolas Cage?
That's him. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's what Braves fans have started resorting to when you want to get the Braves game, the Braves loss out of your memory. Watch that or Harry Potter.
Okay. Well, all right. Okay, I'm done. That's got my frustration now, and I said, "Dang."
Scott, go
all
Braves!
Right.
Thank you.
We'll see you, man.
We
Bye.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
I really hope he goes home and watches National Treasure. I mean, what a day that
me
would be. You
too.
wake up, you go
I
play
just said National
pickleball.
Treasure, and he says, "Is that the one with Nicolas Cage?"
Yeah, he knows. You go wake up, play pickleball, call in, vent your frustrations, and then go home and watch a great piece of historical fiction.
What's the line tonight?
For Braves and Giants?
Yep.
Let's see. I'm gonna guess the Giants are gonna be favored, considering they're playing at home. Let's see. I'm looking at.
Braves are favored.
Yeah, Braves minus 135.
You got Swelly against
Because you got
Birdsong.
Schwelle.
Yep.
Going up against Birdsong.
Well, Swelly was really good the last time he was out there. 10 strikeouts on his birthday against the Red Sox. Part of the 5-0 shutout.
Mhm.
Best game they're going to play all season because me and Dorothy were there.
Well, maybe it's just a Saturday thing. Maybe tomorrow's going to be another great game. Doesn't bode well for today, but
Thanks a lot.
I'm trying to.
Well, by the time it starts, it will be tomorrow here.
That's a good point because that's going to be a 9:15 first pitch tonight for the Braves and Giants.
Which SEC college football teams could shake up the college football playoff race? We'll discuss it next on 3-Man Front, the Friday edition of Jocks 94.5. It's never on time. 3-man front. We got Molly's movie minute. Usually it takes more than a minute. It's kind of misleading. But she goes into detail and she reviews Office Space from last week. And right now we have the voting going on. What movie to review next week? And at last check, it was Bull Durham and A Runaway.
Yeah, let's see if anything's changed. I think that's going to be the movie that you're watching. And so, again, you're going to get another very solid movie for next week, Molly. But, yeah, the recent update, you do have about 15 minutes if you still want to vote in the poll. But your options stay Cocaine Bear, Bull Durham, Borat, and Fargo. Bull Durham with 56% of the vote.
I told her she has to fast forward through the naughty scenes.
Oh, Bull Durham?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good call. Fargo is in second place with 18%. Borat in third with 17%. And then Cocaine Bear with only 8%. Nobody wants Molly to watch Cocaine Bear.
Mm-mm.
I don't get it.
Well, none of us have seen it. Pat's the only one on the
But
show
I
that's
thought
seen
that
it.
was
You've seen
our,
it? Yeah.
our 3-man front movie that we were going to watch together.
It was going to be. We were supposed to do it last year. And now
Yeah.
the further we get away from it, it's kind of like my Caitlin Clark personalized jersey.
Still working on that.
It's kind of seems like it was never real. Like it was never really going to happen.
Empty promises from Pat. That's what we'll call him.
Ugh.
Yeah. Which SEC teams could shake up the college football playoff? But first, Don, what's up?
Hey, buddy, I called to check on you. You okay?
No, I'm not, Don. It's just, I have nothing else to live for.
You know what?
I have nothing
I
to
was
live for,
listening.
Don. This is so devastating. This is horrible. It's the worst thing that's
I can
ever happened to
imagine.
me in my entire life. Yes, I'm fine.
Okay. Well, buddy, I mean, when I right before y'all went off the air, you're winning 9-3. I said, well, holy cow, the Braves are going to win a game. Landers going to be all good and happy. And I look at the score 2 or 3 hours later, it was 11-10. I said, oh no.
Yeah, I have Eugenio Suarez, the third baseman for the Diamondbacks, and Conrad can attest to it. I was actually excited that at that point to get the stats for my daily.
Landrum was handling it very well because the game was unraveling as we were kind of wrapping up here and getting ready to go home and leave the station. And Landrum was you took it like a champ.
Steady Eddie.
Yeah.
That kind of loss, had we been playing a lot better baseball, that kind of loss would have devastated me for a couple of days. But no, not.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, Landrum. I don't know if PG told you or not, but I'm coming to your church Sunday morning.
Oh, awesome. Wonderful. I will go out of my way to.
Are you going to be there? Are you and your lovely wife going to be there?
Yeah, we're going to be there. Of course.
Well, good. I'm looking forward to seeing. Then we can all go together down to the tailgate with Boomer and the thing. And one other question: what kind of food do you guys want for the tailgate? Because we have pizza, barbecue, a little bit of everything, and want to make sure that we have the right food for y'all.
No, that you don't have to make any. We're easy.
I would say anything.
Yeah.
Well,
or garbage disposals.
Well, I just want my friends to be there, everything. And I told Conrad Damien this morning, Landrum and Molly, rain ain't gonna stop nobody from going to a football game. That's what they sell ponchos for. And in y'all's lifetime, how many games have y'all been to in the rain? I've probably been to about 50 in the rain.
Yeah,
it's not lightning.
Played in a bunch in the rain. Those were never a whole lot of fun if you're a long snapper, but also, that changes things. And then, I've been to a lot of games and sat in the rain. I have ponchos. I told my wife when she got home, I said, by the way, I said it on the show today, we have to go, or you have to go with me, rain or shine. And after reminding her of, being a team, she agreed. So we'll be there. And Paige will be there, and Conrad will be there, and Molly and Pat.
Well, good. Well, don't you guys have the passes to get in the box, even if it's raining? Don't y'all have passes to get up in the box?
No, we're not. We're not those hoity-toity people.
Oh, y'all gonna say? Hey,
No,
we'll be sitting with the Don-Dons
We
of the
want to
world.
immerse ourselves. We are the people. We are with the people.
Well, you know what? Well, Landrum, you see me at the game. You know where us and
Yes.
Boomer and all
Try
the
to keep your
horses
shoe
are.
on.
Yesterday, that's true. That's true. Section 104. By the way, man, you almost made me wreck when you compared me to Deborah yesterday.
I just threw out. We throw out potential people that are hiding behind the screen name Deborah that texts in pro-Auburn stuff and hateful Alabama stuff, and we've never met her. And I was just wondering, maybe you were Deborah, but
No, I'm definitely not Deborah. I thought that was Molly anyway.
Yeah, we still don't know about that.
Well, Deborah was around before I ever even got this job.
We have our usual suspects list, and you're on it. Molly's on it. I'm trying to remember who else.
No, is PG on it?
No, because he's a Florida guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is definitely coming from an Auburn fan, whoever's doing it.
Yeah.
Hey,
or Molly.
If Deborah's an Auburn fan, War Eagle too, and everything, and I'm loving what I've been listening to all day with Cole and Greg, and then what the Chris Lowe said about Hugh Freeze, Landrum, and guys, I'm very encouraged by what I'm hearing about Auburn and everything.
What did Chris Lowe say about Hugh Freeze?
He said when he had a very good ESPN interview with him, and Coach Freeze and our coaching staff is very optimistic of the way that Jackson Arnold's look, and everybody loves Deuce Knight, everything, and Pro Football Focus has us as the number 2 receiving class in the country, and Cole and Greg think it's the number 1 in the SEC, and then of all things, Landrum, our offensive line's number 5 in the country. So I'm looking at 9 or 10 wins. And by the way, Conrad, I'm gonna make the bet with you now. I want you to give me Auburn in 7.5 points.
For
the Iron Bowl?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay,
sir.
yeah, deal.
Your guest said that. Yeah, your guest. After I pay you off on the you and Damien off on the Peyton Thorne bet, anyway.
Don, hey, we got to run. We're gonna break down some college football, but we will see you at church on Sunday morning, and look forward to visiting with you for the Stallions Panthers game at Protective. Okay.
Hey, fantastic, guys. Hey, y'all have a good weekend, guys.
You as well.
Thank you, Don.
Don chiming in. We'll get to more of your text, but now let's get back to our college football discussion. On Three's Ari Weisslerman has put out a list of select Big Ten teams and SEC teams that could affect the college football playoff race.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. So quickly, if you missed when we were talking about the Big Ten, I'll just give you the schools real quick. The 4 that he mentioned were Illinois, Washington, Iowa, and then our favorite Big Ten team here at Jocks 94.5, the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yes!
So those are the teams that he is looking at that could potentially shake up the college football playoff race. Now let's look at the SEC. He has 4 schools from the Southeastern Conference, and we'll start with the one everyone wants to hear about. That would be the Auburn Tigers.
I thought it was Florida.
Well, yeah, based on a lot of the other polls, it would be Florida. But here in the great city of Birmingham, that would be the Auburn Tigers. So this is what Ari writes about the Tigers. He says, Auburn was the best bad team in college football last year, despite having dysfunctional quarterback play the entire year. The Tigers fought hard, ran the ball well, and were highly competitive against good teams. Now, Hugh Freeze, who has a long history of drawing up plays, brought in 3 options at quarterback. Seems like Jackson Arnold will get the call if he has a solid offseason in which he develops high-level quarterback play combined with their amazing 1-2 punch at wide receiver could have the Tigers in contention. I think we all agree with that, right? A lot of it does hinge on Jackson Arnold and how much better he could be from last year, but the talent around him, certainly very good.
Look, and I will not continue to beat the horse, but I didn't think that – I agree with a lot of what he said from last year. Got to have better from the guy wearing the headset.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I think that's the most important thing about, we put a lot of this on Jackson Arnold and, is the defense going to continue to improve and what are they going to do at running back? But you need the guy on the sidelines to be
help your guys as much as you can.
Yep, because you weren't doing that last year. And you weren't giving the ball to Jarquez.
Good points.
You have the Auburn schedule pulled up?
I do. That Friday night, August 29th, when they kick off in Waco, Texas, and take on the Baylor Bears.
I mean, I like Auburn in that one. I think that's going to be a good game, honestly.
Yeah.
But I do like Auburn.
It's a tough way to start your season with some of the unknowns and kind of the new, but based on roster, yeah, I'll take Auburn.
Yep. Baylor has a good quarterback, though.
Ball State the next week.
Yeah, that's a win.
South Alabama.
Win.
At Oklahoma.
That's a very interesting one. I think that's
I like that
that's
one.
a very interesting game.
Jackson Arnold returning.
I'll be completely honest.
New offensive coordinator.
I might go Oklahoma right now on that one. I really like John.
I'll go Oklahoma on that one.
Yeah. All right,
At
so we're
Texas
3-1.
A&M.
I mean, They're gonna want revenge, but I'm not.
Some of these coin flip games, you got to have them go your way.
I'll give A&M to Auburn and Oklahoma to Oklahoma.
Okay.
So we're 4-1.
4-1 versus Georgia.
Loss. A competitive loss.
Okay.
You want to go? You want to go there?
Not yet.
Not yet. That again.
I'm not gonna go.
That's let's get into the season, see what we're working with, and revisit that game. But right now, that's a loss for me.
Versus Missouri.
Win.
Yeah.
Should be a win.
Should have been a win last year.
Absolutely.
Again, I said I wasn't going to go there. Sorry.
I know.
At Arkansas, yes, win.
Yeah, has to be a win this year.
Tougher game being on the road, but just play the tape from last year. Versus Kentucky. Jarquez Hunter is still running.
That's a win. We're at 7-2 right now.
At Vanderbilt. Yep.
I mean, I'll say win. I'll say win. Again, let's revisit that one in a couple months. Yeah. But yeah, I'll give them a win. Mercer's a win.
I'll give them a win too. Mercer. Yep.
Win.
Alabama.
Yeah, that. I mean, right now on paper, I'd go Alabama, but I understand it's in Jordan-Hare. So
who is Auburn more likely to be at Jordan-Hare? Jordan? Georgia?
Or Alabama?
Alabama.
In my opinion.
All right, so where does that put us?
9-3.
9-3. Okay. That'll definitely get you in a bowl game and maybe some conversation with the college football playoff.
Absolutely. But I think
based on strength of schedule, which we'll never see.
Yeah, and again, this is going off, you can't lose, and that's been the problem for Auburn the last couple of years, right? Is you can't lose the games that you're not supposed to lose, right? The Arkansas, the Kentuckys, those kinds of games. We're assuming you're going to get those. And I mean, when you look at the schedule, okay, Oklahoma, A&M, Georgia, and Alabama, I think we'd all agree those are coin flip games. I mean, you go 2-2 and you handle your business the rest of the way. Like
a lot of revenge games to choose from here, though, Conrad.
There are.
Is Vanderbilt that revenge game, or would you say Arkansas or Oklahoma?
The Vanderbilt one, I think, again, it goes deeper than Vanderbilt, though. It's the fact you don't want to lose to Pavia 3 years in a row.
I was going to say
Pavia. That's got to be the one.
It's got to be that one, and it's because of him. I would also think Arkansas would be in the mix as well, because that's another one of those games that you're like, how on earth did we possibly lose this one? Yeah.
All right, so consensus, Auburn 9-3? That's your pick right now?
God, I guess.
10-2?
No, not double digits. I'm still sitting at 8-4. I just feel like that's where we're going to go.
I'm still waiting to see.
But I know we just did the exercise at 9-3. Certainly,
I'm looking at your body language right now. Mm-hmm. You look very, very uneasy.
Why?
When talking about Auburn,
I don't have a problem talking about Auburn.
No, I know you. No. That wasn't my point. It deep down, it feels like you think that maybe
they're gonna be good.
There could be a magical season in store.
I think
which means heartache on your end.
I think they're going to have a good season. That game is going to be very tough at the end of the year.
See, you folks, I'm around Conrad. We're around Conrad every single day. That was genuine. That's one of your tells. You got really, really squirmy. We were talking Auburn's record and potentially.
Well, I just don't like that we're going through it, and then at the end it's like, so 9-3. It's like, oh man, we are there, aren't we?
That's a big jump from 6 and 7 or 5.
Exactly, and that's
5 wins
again. And that's the thing is we're banking on a lot of these things are well. If everything goes right, this is how it'll play out for you. So, I genuinely though, in my bottom of my heart, I do think Auburn is going to be much better.
Conrad, who's the next team?
The next team we have in the Southeastern Conference would be the Florida Gators. This is what Ari had to write about the Gators. It says Florida is going to have the best quarterback in the country next season in DJ Lagway. Some people are resistant and thinking in those terms, but anyone who has open eyes and watched him play last year saw something special. I do agree with that. I don't know if he's going to be the best, but he is special. Florida's players developed last year as the season went on, especially on the D line, and the Gators brought in 2 elite receiver prospects in Vernell Brown III and Dallas Wilson. You may roll your eyes, but Florida has a chance to be something special this year if things click for Napier, who has existed on the hot seat for his entire tenure. Again, Florida is one of those teams, if everything goes right.
Tough schedule last year, tough schedule this year.
Yes, exactly.
I like that, though.
They open up with LIU.
Yep, that should be a win. Yeah.
South Florida.
Yep, should be a win.
At LSU, I'm going to say loss, Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I give that one to LSU.
Yeah.
That's a night game. At Miami.
Again, that's a coin flip one.
I'm going to give them that one.
Yeah, I'll give them that one because I'm not going to give them the next one.
Versus Texas.
Yep.
No.
Nope.
Loss.
Nope.
So where are we? 3-2?
3-2.
Mm-hmm.
At Texas A&M. I'm going to say A&M gets them.
Yeah. I'm gonna say
all right,
it's a
so we're
loss.
3-3. Yep.
Versus Mississippi State.
Win.
4-3.
Yep.
Versus Georgia.
Oh, man, I'll go loss for that one, but I mean,
I'm saying loss.
I think if he
4
doesn't
and
get
4.
hurt, I think they win that game last year. But yeah, so 4-4.
At Kentucky, 5-4.
Win.
Mm-hmm.
At Ole Miss, I'm giving them a win, 6-4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
I could see that.
Well, it's November 15th.
Well, they're
Where's Lane Kiffin at
and
that
they're
point?
gonna win one, and they're gonna win one of these games that we're chalking them up to lose probably.
Hey, I was there for that
Versus-
Florida Ole Miss game last year. It was awesome.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
You sent us that great personalized jersey that had the number 0 and
Oh.
it says
Day
on the
sober.
nameplate, day sober.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Versus Tennessee, I'm going to give them that one.
Yep.
And then versus Florida State, of course.
Win.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's 8-4.
The doormat of college football, FSU Dave. I'm kidding. Florida State's still going to be celebrating that opening week win.
Something like that. I will say, again, we've seen limited action, but what I saw from DJ Lagway, I'm 100% a believer in that guy.
So with
That guy's
I wasn't
legit.
keeping up. Was that 8-4?
Yes.
Okay.
8-4. And we have to do Molly's Movie Minute, so we'll go through these last two very quickly. So the other two SEC schools that Ari brings up, Oklahoma, not a big surprise there. He says people have left OU and Venables for dead. They stunk last year, so there's the question that they'll stink again, right? Well, they're wrong. Oklahoma brought in the single most important transfer of the 2025 cycle in quarterback John Mateer, along with former offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle. They also added California running back Jaden Ott into the mix. If the O-line is improved and Venables can cook up a good defense like he always does, then look out. The biggest problem is their difficult schedule, which they certainly do have a difficult schedule.
Oklahoma 9-3.
The last one we have is South Carolina, and I think, again, one that we're all keeping our eyes on. He writes, DJ Lagway and Arch Manning get the bulk of attention when it comes to SEC stars, so here's some love to Lenora Sellers. South Carolina was very good last year, but now has a seasoned athletic freak at starting quarterback who has every bit an opportunity to be a household name in the sport, just like DJ Lagway. Add in that they have Dylan Stewart, and there's a solid core there. South Carolina has to go from having potential to winning games each week in the SEC.
Interesting that talking to people that are actively employed in college football and some of them coaches, you hear from some and they say, yeah, South Carolina won't miss a beat, maybe be better. And then South Carolina, from some others, saying they are way overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the losses, they're going to show up come game time.
They lost a lot on defense.
They did.
And a really good running back.
Yep. And we're seeing them coming, so that might not be good for Shane Beamer.
It's about to say, everyone loves being the underdog. It's a lot different when you have a target.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Our target is reviewing a movie. Molly's going to do that as she reviews Molly's Movie Minute with Office Space. We do it next, the Friday edition of Three Man Front and Jocks 94.5. 12:35, 3-man front. Lands from Conrad and Molly. Side note, but Dolly Parton, 9 to 5. It's a movie that you have to see. I did not realize. I know that she very successful business ventures and what she's done in private business. But I saw last night is we were in the grocery store in the frozen food section. Dolly Parton has frozen dinners that you can buy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you saw Dolly Parton at the grocery store.
Yeah, frozen dinners and like cake mixes.
Oh, so you know about the frozen dinners?
Yeah,
they got
I've
a
seen
shrimp
them.
and grits that you can get.
I've never had any of them.
I was about to say,
I've seen them.
did y'all buy any?
No. I said it like no. Like, oh, it's horrible. I've never eaten a frozen.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
eaten
It's like
lot
in a
of
little
frozen
pink
dinners.
package.
Yeah.
Got country fried steak,
And
chicken,
they
and
have like
dumplings.
a cartoon dolly there on the front.
Yeah. Okay. Huh.
So there's my side note of the day.
I did not know that Dolly Parton had frozen foods.
I
Good
gave
for
out
her.
the Pub Nicks tip that I found out that Molly's a big fan of.
Love Pub
Yep.
Nicks. It's so good.
Also, might have had someone who is our boss that asked me where exactly to get those.
Oh, okay.
So,
Look at you riding high.
we're going through that stuff like crazy.
It's good.
It could be worse. We could be consuming other things, I guess, in bulk.
Absolutely.
Consuming in bulk as far as movies. That's what Molly does during the summertime here on the show. Office Space was the movie that you voted on as our Great Jocks listeners. And here it is, Molly's Movie Minute.
It's time for Molly's Movie Minute. Cinematic insights with expert critiques and analysis. And now, let's journey through the world of film with Molly Robinson.
I was telling Conrad at the break because he was asking me about a certain scene in the movie. And I was saying how I was kind of sad because one of the things I wrote down in my actual review was how much I loved the soundtrack to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I unfortunately couldn't play any of it because lots of words that can't be put out on the radio. So I stuck with 9 to 5.
Wasn't one of the songs the line, today was a good day?
I know the popular one is, damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
That was the one
okay.
I was talking about.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if the other one's
There
in
were
it
a
as
couple
well.
others too. Yeah.
Yeah, but a great soundtrack.
A wonderful
Just
soundtrack.
very expletive filled.
Did you guys get the memo? We're now putting cover sheets on our TPS reports.
Gotta love a good TPS report.
I know, but just wanted to make sure that you got the memo. That
Yeah.
We're now, don't forget your cover sheet.
Gonna need you to come in on Saturday.
Yeah. Also, one thing I loved, and you guys know this from me doing all these movie reviews, but I'm usually terrible with actors and actresses. Now, obviously, Jennifer Aniston, I love Friends, so I knew who she was.
Yeah.
But Lumbergh, his boss, is Ricky Bobby's dad in Talladega Nights.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I was like, he looks so familiar.
He
And
also
sure
played Mike Brady in the Brady Bunch movie.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of
He's
stuff.
been in a lot of stuff.
Sure, Jan.
Yeah. That's the actor. You've seen him everywhere, but you could not
Yes.
call his name.
And
Absolutely.
Or her name.
And that's how I found that. I was like, he looks so familiar. And sure enough, I Googled him.
Yep.
It's like, that's Reese Bobby.
Yeah.
I know. If you ain't first, you're last. I know exactly who that is.
Mm-hmm.
But no, first and foremost, I just want to say that this movie, I have a lot of friends that I went to school with that kind of are starting to live this life now of working in a cubicle all day, every day. And it really, I don't want to say it made me feel bad for them, but I was like, I hope that their life isn't like that.
It gives you bigger appreciation for what we get to do every day.
It really
Yeah.
did, yeah. And just, dealing with his boss and having to, we get to work on the weekends sometimes, but what we do is fun. And then having to go in on Saturday and
We are very
work on
blessed.
we are really blessed.
Remind yourself every day to do what we do.
Yes, and that was
you,
honestly my biggest takeaway from the movie. I guess as the whole thing went on, but I loved, what was his name? Milton.
Oh yeah.
Stapler.
I'm gonna burn this place down.
Yep. Those are the ones you got to watch.
He want me stapler. And
Yeah.
sure enough.
I was about to say, and sure
And
enough.
sure enough, it happened. He got his stapler
Let's
back.
talk about Howlers and the Hunters.
Mm-hmm.
He was definitely a hunter. You never see him coming.
Yeah,
Nobody pays attention to the little passive comments that he makes, and then all of a sudden,
No, I felt bad for him because everybody was so mean to him, and he didn't get cake.
No, he didn't get the cake.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
that
Lumbergh's
was-
birthday. I was so sad.
And when they're moving him around and stuff, it's really sad. But I love, like, even at the beginning of the movie when he's talking about, hey, can you turn down your radio? And he's like, well, why do I have to turn down my radio? Because she gets to listen to her headphones and I get to listen. You just feel so bad for him because he's like, I'm just trying to do what everyone else gets to do and no one lets me live my life.
I love the Bobs in this movie.
Oh,
the consultants that come in, because that is so right on par.
Oh, it is.
With Big Brother corporate America overpaying for just common sense, and a lot of it's not common sense. It's
any given week I do
stupid.
about 15 total minutes of work. I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
No, this movie and his next door neighbor, knock, knock, knock. Hey, turn on Channel 9.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, his neighbor's awesome.
His neighbor was hilarious.
Jennifer Aniston's role at Shenanigans.
Yes.
Because when this movie came out, that was a just right.
Is that supposed to be a parody of like what, a TGI Fridays or something like that?
TGI Fridays, or back in the day, I worked there in college, a Ruby Tuesdays.
Yeah.
An Applebee's, but
what were the
no,
buttons?
we never had
Flair.
the Flair.
The Flair,
it was
yes.
Flair. It was the pieces
Flair.
of Flair.
You
Yeah,
only
so
have 15 pieces of Flair.
Yeah, so if you think doing the bare minimum's enough for you, then that's okay.
Then that's okay.
So the biggest investment that the studio made was Jennifer Aniston at the time. And this was before she had really become the Jennifer Aniston that we came to know through some of her other movies and through TV. But that's when she started to make her ascension on the TV show Friends.
Yes.
But that was the big name that they tried to go and grab. One other name, instead of Ron Livingston, that they tried to go and grab, they were very interested in Ben Affleck.
Interesting. I'm glad they stuck with Ron Livingston.
Yes, me
And
too.
so.
Yeah. But no, the scene where they're out like in the field and they're destroying the printer.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
That was awesome.
Oh, yeah, and they're like having to hold the guy back because he wants to go back for more, and there's just like in slow motion. Oh, it's so good. So good.
It was kind of funny too when he went to the hypnotherapist. He was like, "Every day is the worst day of my life," and the guy feels bad for him. No, this movie was hilarious.
And
I loved it.
you have the guy that gets run over by the truck, and so he gets the big settlement.
Yeah.
And he just shows up in the wheelchair, and he's all casted up in the full
And he has
body
that party.
cast.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was so good. And then the door-to-door magazine salesman. I'm actually a software engineer.
This was shot in Dallas and in Austin.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Nope. And it said the soundtrack to Office Space is loaded with gangster rap. And it said, that being said, this was something else the studio wanted to cut.
Oh, I liked it.
There was a focus group screening that did not like the gangster rap. And he said that they decided that they were going to keep it in there. And
It's so perfect, though.
I thought it was perfect for it too. Yeah. Because in the very beginning, when they're all driving to work, you had, like, what's his name, Peter, getting over in the left lane. Oh, then getting back to the right. And I'm just, that is so relatable. Because I feel like that always happens to me where, oh, this lane's moving, let me get over. And then all of a sudden, the next lane, it's just...
But it's so fitting for I hate my job, my life is miserable, I need to listen to something like angry or
and
loud.
That's what he was doing.
Exactly.
It was
to vent on my way home from work or to prepare myself to go into work. And that's why the music, it works so well.
You guys want to take a guess at what it did domestically in box office?
In the box office?
I think I read it didn't do very well.
What, did it make like 30 million or something?
$10.8 million.
Wow.
So it's just a cult classic,
yeah,
essentially.
Pretty much.
And the budget for the movie was $10 million.
Wow. Okay. So it barely made a profit.
Wow. That's crazy.
Because that's why we never got another one. But it's so good. It's such a, I guess in that aspect, an underrated movie.
It's very ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And they asked Mike Judge if he would be interested in making a sequel, and he said absolutely not. Leave it alone.
I think it's perfect the way it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, and you can't forget that one of the guys' names is Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton.
Everyone
Michael
keeps
Bolton.
asking him, "Oh, really?"
Any relation
He's just
to
so
the guy with the glasses.
He's just
I love
by
his
it.
character.
So what's your favorite song? All of them.
So good.
All right.
Amazing
So
movie.
How many stars?
I give it 4.
4 stars.
Okay. And that's what you gave the movie last week, right? Bad News Bears?
Yeah.
Is that 4?
Yeah.
Bull Durham, that's leading the way, and I guess we're what? Are we calling it?
We are done. The final votes have been tabulated, and it is Bull Durham with 56% of the votes. So
Wow.
Going back to baseball movie territory next week for Molly, but that's a great one.
I'm excited. I like baseball movies.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Those have, except for Benchwarmers, they've pretty much consistently been my favorite.
This is a good baseball
Okay,
movie.
good.
It's a good baseball movie.
Yeah.
Teaches you a lot.
It's just a good movie, but yeah.
Yeah.
Crash Davis.
Well, good. I'm excited. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, great
Oh,
review,
thank
Molly.
you, Molly.
Did you get the memo?
Thanks, deeply.
Oh, and don't forget, next Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day.
Another one that got the O face. That got pulled from this. That was made. We'll continue. 3 men in front Jocks 94.5. Little Michael Bolton coming back in honor of Office Space, the movie for Molly's Movie Minute that she just reviewed. 4 out of 5 stars. Any portion of the program that you missed, you can always find it there at jocksfm.com, the 3-Man Front podcast. Super Regional action got started early today in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. North Carolina hosting Arizona 10-2. Tar Heels leading as they play in the top of the 6th inning. You've got Auburn starting things on the SEC side for the Super Regional tonight, 8 o'clock at Plainsman Park. And then tomorrow, LSU. They're from Baton Rouge, and Arkansas hosting Tennessee, which ought to be fun. Yeah. A lot of love between Dave Van Horn and Tony Vitella.
Yeah, I was expecting some fireworks to be going on in Fayetteville. It should be a lot of fun. And coming up at 1 o'clock, we can touch a little bit because you do have the final game of the softball College World Series going on tonight as well. And so we can dive into a little bit of that in the 1 o'clock hour.
Dobbs Ford, find them there at Parkway East. Wonderful folks. That's why I always start with it. But what sets them apart? Oh, there's other dealerships that have a lot of the same inventory. Let's be honest. It's Ford. But what sets them apart is the people you're going to deal with. Joey and Rachel Goshen, just wonderful people, godly people, but also their entire staff there at Dobbs Ford. You go onto the lot, you go into the showroom, and you're going to notice the difference, whether you ever buy a car, truck, or SUV there. they're going to take care of you. You're going to appreciate the experience. And you're going to pass on the good experience to your family and to your friends. Repeat business, word of mouth. That's how they do it. And then folks like me that go and experience it and talk about it because we truly believe in it. I've had family members now. My little sister, she went and bought a 2025 Expedition there just a couple of weeks ago. And she said, you were absolutely right. Not that you actually, maybe you undersell how nice they are there. They are unbelievable. Dobbs Ford, DobbsFordBirmingham.com. Check it out. Alabama's largest showroom selection. And right now you get the Ford employee pricing. You pay on select makes and models of what the Ford employees pay, 90 days until your first payment. DobbsFordBirmingham.com. Parkway East in Birmingham. Make sure you tell them Landrum from Jock 94.5 sent you.
Well, 205-834-9450. That's how you can get on the courtesy GMC text line, as many of you do each and every day. We always appreciate your interaction. You text it in, we read it. And if it's too naughty, though, we just keep it to ourselves and laugh. But we do appreciate all of your texts, and we do read each and every one of them. So we have a text coming in. Somebody talking about the Braves game from last night. They say, after I checked the ESPN scoreboard, saw the Braves blow a 9-3 lead, I just started watching the movie Christine.
I've never seen that movie.
I've not either. That's the one about the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stephen King.
Yeah.
Yes, I have not seen that one, but probably not as scary as what you saw during the Braves game yesterday.
I think that could happen now with some of the cars that drive themselves. Just a little teaser for maybe later on.
Yeah, just a little bit of a teaser. All right, Robert, he chimes in. He says, that's the worst loss for the Braves yesterday. How do you blow a 6-run lead in the 9th inning and 1 out? Bullpen went from one of the 5 best to 5 worst in Major League Baseball. Snicker needs to be fired. If he was in any large market, he would have been fired by now. In honor of Alex Anthopoulos, poor management skills. I don't know what movie that is.
What was that?
It says, in honor of Alex Anthopoulos' poor management skills, Molly needs to do a Friday Molly's Movie Minute on a movie called Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I've watched twice this week after not watching them for 24 years. You have seen that one? Okay. Was it good? Do you remember?
I was really little when I saw it.
I had never heard of that movie before. But okay.
Is that? Never mind. Go ahead.
Not sure. Let's see. What is this one? Oh, okay. There it is. Who is this? It's Steve from Tuscaloosa. He sent in a picture of a bobblehead. So said the Barons actually did this last year where they did a personalized bobblehead promotion. Okay. He has his own bobblehead.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's
the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
I just couldn't understand, not that there's anything wrong with it. I couldn't understand the line of people that were waiting to
purchase one of those.
To purchase one.
Yeah. Let's see. Somebody chimes in from the state of Mississippi, say North Carolina is absolutely killing it right now. And yes, they are in the middle of the 5th inning. They are in the middle of the 6th, excuse me. North Carolina up 10-2 right now in Arizona. Ooh. They're having quite a day so far. Let's see. Jason chimes in. All he says is Diamondbacks just scored again.
Yes, they did.
Let's see. Someone reminds us Aaron Rodgers also wore number 8 when he was in college at Cal. So maybe that
was pre-weird, Aaron Rodgers.
I think he's always been weird.
Maybe we just blame it. We'll just start there. Cal Berkeley. You got to be a smarty to go there. But maybe that's where some of the weirdness.
Had he cut off his family by that point? That's what I'm wondering. Did this all happen after he cut off his family or before?
I think that was, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when that happened. Let's see. James chimes in. Would Chipper Jones be interested in managing the Braves? I think he's happy doing.
I will answer for Chipper and say no.
I think he's happy doing what he does right now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, and Mad Dog chimes in just reminding everybody, please let everyone know that the Stallions USFL Championship game is at 2:00. Our tailgate's at 10:30. Our general admission tickets are $10, and those have no fees associated with them right now, so go and get those online. And we'll wrap up with this one for right now. One of these QBs that everyone is hyping up, Manning, Sellers, or Lagway, are not going to be what everyone's gushing about. I hope Manning does, but scenario reminds me of Jeremy Johnson at Auburn.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't think they're going to be that bad. These guys have already accomplished more than Jeremy Johnson did at Auburn.
You can only play Arkansas in spot duty for a suspended quarterback That was his best game he ever had.
Yep.
Not so much the next year. One o'clock, it's a Friday edition of Three Man Front. Landrum, Conrad, and Molly. Pat's back with us on Monday. Busy show today, as it typically is. Wimp Sanderson in the 10 o'clock hour. Some storytelling, as you would imagine, talking about recruiting. One Buck Johnson, also Chuck Person, but also discussing a little bit of college baseball. You can check that out at the Three Man Front podcast at jocksfm.com. Barrett Sully talking Braves. Very good visit with Barrett, if you're a Braves fan,
he was optimistic. Said the bat maybe last time it's what you needed from an offensive standpoint.
And Barrett, again, he is not a sunshine pumper, but if you miss that, Raisel Iglesias, maybe his best days with the Braves behind him. He said he expect changes there in the bullpen when it comes to the closer role, particularly maybe Pierce Johnson, maybe some other guys. Craig Kimbrell, by the way, is
he got called up.
Has been called up. So Craig Kimbrell at 38 years young right now,
something like that.
Alabama native. If he can bring some of that fire back. I'm guessing his fastball has lost a little bit.
I would, I assume so.
Just throw strikes.
He is 37 years old. 37 years old. And he also mentioned Chris Blewett potentially as a guy that maybe you won't be seeing in an Atlanta Braves uniform again after what you got last night.
Yeah, it was bad.
That was very bad. And obviously,
it's an unfortunate last name.
I was about to say for him, you just feel really bad in those circumstances.
The only one that I can remember from SEC days, Suckup.
Yep.
The kicker.
Yep, Ryan Suckup.
Yep.
You
don't want to miss a field goal if your last name's Suckup.
Nope.
What was the other one? I thought of one more. It was like, golly, for that particular position and what would be on the line in that particular game, that would be unfortunate if you failed to deliver with that last name. Blew it.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate there. But, hey, maybe Craig Kimbrell, the spark that you needed, and new maybe just even just within the locker room, right? Because and you would know certainly better than any of us. Was he a guy, like from a personality standpoint, and I guess his glory days, was Craig Kimbrell a more outspoken kind of player? Is he a quiet guy? Like what kind of a presence do you think he has in a clubhouse?
I don't know. I can't remember him being like a hothead or like a Greg Maddux, kind of the clown, the prankster.
Yeah, I just didn't know if maybe from like a bringing people together kind of standpoint.
Well, if anything else, he's a guy that's been with a lot of different teams. Mm-hmm. He understands the organization because he played with the Braves early in his career. He's a guy who has had success. He's been an all-star. Those younger players will certainly respect, I would think, but I don't know. I definitely don't think the team chemistry is at an all-time high. I know that Barrett downplayed it a little bit, and because you don't want a soundbite coming out there or your clubhouse. But I talked to other people over there that would know, and they said it's not exactly kosher, so to speak. But you get a lot of finger pointing and a lot of things that happen when you're playing the way that they are.
Yeah, no, you certainly do. So we'll see if they can turn it around this weekend as they head to San Francisco to take on the Giants.
I'm trying to look now at the Major League Baseball odds right now.
For today or futures?
No, not for today. Futures. I'm trying to find futures, Conrad. We can go there or we can go, what is it, Fangraphs?
I was about to say, I'm going to look at projected win totals for the Braves because I know as of, I don't know if it was 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago, but I mean, that Fangraph still had the Braves winning 90 games and making the postseason, even when it wasn't looking so hot for them.
I still had hope 1 or 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so projected. Where are the Braves? They are down here. Fangraphs has the Braves projected to go 84-78 right now. That would be one game better than the St. Louis Cardinals based on their projections right now.
Goodness. Okay.
So that's but to be fair with Fangraphs, they have an absolute log jam of from 86 wins to 83 wins is like half the league. So
I'm sorry I asked.
Take that with
84-78. That would be a winning season.
That would be look, I understand you're not going to make the postseason with 84 wins, but I feel like if you were able to turn it around and get to that point, it has to at least make you feel better about next season, right?
Sure, in theory.
Sure. I don't think anything will make you feel better right now.
By the way, update from the Chapel Hill Super Regional with the NCAA baseball tournament continuing. It has been all North Carolina since Arizona opened things up in the top of the first with a run. North Carolina still threatening, but leading 12-2 in that one.
Yeah, and they just scored there on a nice opposite field single. 12-2 North Carolina in the bottom of the 6th inning. Guys on first and second with one out, not looking great for the Wildcats.
Let's hit some text on the text line 205-834-9450. This being the anniversary of D-Day. Listener says, my grandfather stormed Normandy in Wave 2, Saving Private Ryan opening. Can't imagine. I can't either.
No, that and if you go and watch that movie and you see
Feeling like a fish in a barrel.
Yes. I mean, understanding that, standing there in the ship and understanding, 70% of the guys I'm standing next to right now probably won't be alive in 5 minutes, but this is what we have to do to protect our country and our families back home. And even, what he was saying about Saving Private Ryan, if you go and there's a bunch of interviews with former World War II veterans who watched that movie, and a lot of them had to walk out and leave because they said that is the most accurate depiction I've ever seen of an actual battlefield in a war movie. And it was too realistic for a lot of them. So an excellent interpretation of what happened, but one of the most important days in American history, no doubt about it.
I'm getting more quotes from Office Space, which Molly reviewed, gave 4 out of 5. Some of these lines.
Oh, they're gold. They're gold.
Somebody chimed in. I'll take the expletive out, but what is a PC load letter? Mike Judge created the Milton character first. It was actually on a mid-90s SNL. He took that, built the movie around him. But he did not want
Really?
to. Yeah, but he didn't
I didn't
want,
know that.
and that was part of the fun facts.
Yeah.
He did not want a movie based around Milton, though. So Milton was a part of the movie, but he thought conceptually
He couldn't be the main character.
Yeah.
Well, it worked out. It worked out very well for him.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
And I know Saber pointed out to you on Twitter, but yeah, the actor that plays Milton has had a very interesting career. He's in a lot of stuff. Even today, he was excellent at Barry on HBO. If you watch that.
Oh wow! So Tim connecting some dots. Have you guys seen House of David?
No.
Okay, I would recommend it.
Is it? What's it on?
Either Max or Prime.
Is it about the story of David?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's very, very good.
Yeah.
Very well done. But the guy who plays Samuel, the prophet, oh, wow, that is him. On the House of David is the same person who played Ike in Tombstone.
Oh,
Interesting.
I love that movie.
Okay. I love when watching a movie or a show and being like, I know where that person. I know it's probably some people probably think that's annoying, but me and Paige do that all the time. It's like, where did we see that person? It's always fun connecting those dots.
Conrad, I think we might have addressed this yesterday, but why did the Knicks fire their coach after finally not being hot trash?
Yeah, that was the
was that defensive-minded coach?
That was the big question. Yeah, Tibbs. Thibodeau's a defensive guy, and the Knicks defensively just weren't really up to snuff. I know part of it was with Karl Anthony Towns and some frustrations with him. I know people were upset with how he managed some of the guys' workload. They didn't have a lot of depth this year, and so he kind of ran Brunson and Cat and some of those guys into the ground. And so I think it's a lot of those things mixed with maybe just time for a new voice there in the locker room for the Knicks.
Eric chimes in. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Great movie.
Haven't seen that, but I've heard it's a great movie.
Is that Johnny Depp?
That
and Leonardo?
is, I was about to say,
Yeah.
that was Leonardo DiCaprio's first big role as an actor.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, that is a good movie.
This listener says, has frequency been considered? Ask if it had been considered. What a great one for her with baseball history involved. Not able to listen every week, but frequency is a must watch.
Frequency. Have you seen
I'll
that
check
one,
it out.
Landrum?
Never seen it.
It has Dennis Quaid. See, it came out in 2000. It says, what if you had the chance to travel back in time and change one event in your life? What would it be? That's a really good Pat Ponders question, actually.
It really is, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Have to check that out.
Apparently, Milton is the voice of Bill on King of the Hill, Mike Judge's show.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actually.
I just know the Hank Hill.
Yeah.
Propane and propane accessories.
That's
Bobby.
They're remaking King of the Hill.
Are they?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Steven chimes in and says frequency's great, by the way.
Okay. Take the word
JJ
for it.
also, he concurs, says frequency is really good.
I don't know how we've never heard of this one. Have to go check it out.
More lines from the movie Office Space coming out. Where's my stapler?
Here's my stapler.
Man, poor Milton, man.
Oh, I know. Poor Milton. But it's so good in the movie. His
It
character's great.
Alan asks, has Molly seen Weekend at Bernie's?
I have not.
Mm-mm.
We'll have to put that on the list maybe next week.
I think it was on one of them last year, but it didn't win.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Another vote for Frequency is awesome. We got to watch
That should
Frequency.
go on the list.
Then we'll put it on the list after Cocaine Bear.
Jerry from Hayden says that Molly needs to see Slapshot.
The hockey. I've actually seen that one.
Okay, well, I will admit it. I never have.
What?
I haven't seen that one either.
Slapshot's really funny.
Who's in that one? Paul Newman.
It's one when I tell people, they're like, shame on you. I know.
That's another one. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's really good.
Up until a few years ago, I had never seen The Big Lebowski.
See, I hadn't seen that movie until probably about 5 years ago.
And I caught grief from the guys that I bowl with. They're like, you've never seen The Big Lebowski?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're in a bowling league.
Kingpin, that was my bowling movie.
I was about to say, growing up, I watched Kingpin, and I used to think that movie was hilarious. And then I watched The Big Lebowski, and I'm like, oh, this might be my favorite bowling movie.
Have you seen Lean on Me with Morgan Freeman?
I have not.
Sam's! East Side High?
No.
Good movie.
Okay.
I haven't seen that one either.
Conrad, put that on the list as ones that
Lean
people
on
can
Me,
vote on.
Weekend at Bernie's, and Frequency.
Yep.
Okay.
Lean on Me, man. Joe Clark, he did not put up with any nonsense whatsoever. It's a really good movie. Might make you cry a little bit, Mo.
Some of these movies have made me cry.
From laughing and from sadness.
Yes.
This one on DJ Lagway as the best quarterback in the country. He won't even be the best in the conference. Not saying he won't be good, but I'm giving that to Nuss. He just graduated, so that means more time for football, and he's only returning 4,000-yard passer in the country. Everybody, it does seem like Garrett Nussmeier kind of getting left out of some of these conversations, understandably with Lenora Sellers and Lagway, Arch, but
Nuss just has to not turn the ball over so much. If he had an interception problem last year, if he gets that fixed, there's no doubt that he very well may be the best quarterback in the conference this year.
Okay, so we have a vote against Frequency. It says Frequency, really? They probably think Will Smith is a good actor too. Not worth of Molly movie minute.
Okay. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's Denzel or anything, but Will Smith is an excellent actor. I'm not. Now, some of his movies are bad, but everybody has bad movies. Will Smith is a good actor.
Jason says Joe Clark was a badass with a baseball bat. Yes, he was. What about Dazed and Confused? She's never seen it.
No, I have.
Oh, you have seen
that
it?
Yeah, I've seen that one. I watched it in high school.
Paige hates that movie.
Please tell me you're putting Cheech and Chong on the list. That's been recommended.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. I'll add that on there.
Labrador. Had to follow him around for 3 days, man. Ate my stash. Thanks for the text.
These are good recommendations. Yeah, I appreciate that because this is, our Thursday ritual of trying to come up with movies that Molly hasn't seen, and this, y'all help out a lot.
Yep, we appreciate that. We will continue. Speaking of things that we've seen, Conrad has seen something that is very, very disturbing. The worst thing I've seen. We're going to do it next on 3 Man Front. 117, 3-man front. Appreciate all of your interaction on the text line. A lot of good text today. Love hearing from you. Love your feedback, your suggestions, whether it's Molly's Movie Minute or whether it's SEC quarterback races for the college football season. All of the content each and every day here on the show can be found at jocksfm.com and the 3-Man Front podcast, also the number 3-Man Front on Twitter and on Instagram. So check us out there as well. And all of our friends listening, not only up in North Alabama in Huntsville, the surrounding areas, but also in the capital city of Montgomery and various other parts of the great state of Alabama, listening on the Jocks 94.5 app. Thank you. And watching us on Jocks TV on YouTube.
Well, Diamonds Direct is where competitive pricing meets warm, exceptional service. You'll never feel rushed, and the focus is on finding the perfect piece for your style, budget, and occasion. A couple weeks ago, I went in and I got to meet with diamond expert Sasha, and she was able to tell me everything that Diamonds Direct has to offer, from cleanings to polishing to ring sizing and routine repairs. They provide it all. Great complimentary care service for the lifetime of your jewelry with no strings attached. And when you are ready to upgrade your diamond, you'll receive up to 110% off your original purchase price towards your new selection. That's a signature perk that only they can offer. So go check our friends out. And like I said, their beautiful showroom at Diamonds Direct.
We see good, we see bad. Today, Conrad has seen something bad. This is the worst thing that Conrad has seen. I bet she loved Office Space.
I bet she did as well, Landrum. And it's Friday, so we're having a little fun today, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to do 2 stories.
Yes! A double feature from Conrad.
Double the bad.
That is bad.
Yeah, double the bad, unfortunately. So we'll start with one story, and then we'll move to one that's just generally concerning for the future of all of us. So hold on for that one.
Okay.
We got that to look forward to.
Yeah, that's right. But we'll start off with a little more fun one. This is out in California, where a high school sprinter by the name of Clara Adams, she's a 16-year-old sophomore at North Salinas High School, and she was recently stripped of her state title due to a celebration after a track event.
Okay, given the state and given the high school ranks, I was thinking that you were going to say something else that has been very topical in the news in certain states.
No, this is not that situation.
So her name is Clara
Adams. Yes.
Adams. Okay.
Yes. And
Please continue.
Yes. So she is a sprinter in the state of California at North Salinas High. She was competing in the 400-meter finals, and she finished the race in first place, 0.28 seconds ahead of the closest competitor. But she was then later disqualified by the California Interscholastic Federation, or CIF for short, due to her post-race celebration. Any guesses, anybody? Any guesses?
Post-race celebration, she was running around to her fellow competitors, and she was doing like the Florida State pitcher did to the Mississippi State batter in the Tallahassee regional, pointing her finger.
Yeah, maybe like talking some smack.
Y'all are so slow.
Yeah.
Eat my dust. Just taunting.
Well, how about this? How about she went over to the stands after the race, got her dad, who had been holding on to this item for her during the race. He gave her a fire extinguisher, to which she proceeded to go into the middle of the track and extinguish her shoes because they were on fire from how fast she ran the race.
I love it.
Wait, that's so funny.
It is so creative.
Yeah,
so creative.
So Claire Adams ran to the stands, grabbed a small fire extinguisher from her father. She then says she sprayed her cleats because they were on fire due to her blazing speed. The CIF disqualified Adams for both the 400-meter finals and the 200-meter finals due to that celebration, which they deemed as unsportsmanlike. This is Claire Adams. This is the student. This is her response to the LA Times when asked to comment. Quote, "I was having fun. I'd never won something like that before, and they took it away from me. I didn't do anything wrong. I worked really hard for it, and they took it from me, and I don't know what to do."
According to
According to her father, he also added that the officials who spoke to her after the race were quote, really nasty to his daughter after the celebration.
And look, I think that she's won a race, but you're going to strip her of her title and not let her compete in two more races.
In another races? Yeah.
Yeah. That's over the top to me. Way over the top.
According to the National Federation of State High School Associations, unsportsmanlike conduct can include, quote, disrespectfully addressing an official, flagrant behavior, intentional contact, taunting, criticizing, or using profanity directed towards someone. That's their criteria. I don't really know. I guess that would be considered taunting. That's a pretty cool celebration.
Do you think we'll see a celebration, not like someone actually pulling out a fire extinguisher, but like acting like it from now on?
Here's a better question, guys. If she had been born a boy and she was competing against girls, would they have had the gumption to disqualify her?
No, they would not.
Thank you, Conrad.
No, they would not. Her father added that the celebration was a tribute to Maurice Green, a former United States sprinter who did the same exact celebration back in 2004 at the Home Depot Invitational, to which the broadcasters responded with laughter. So maybe that answers your question.
As far as props go for celebrations, the Sharpie, T.O., the popcorn, but the fire extinguisher, love it. I thought you were going to say that she went around spraying her... The other girls running with this fire extinguisher, but she did it for her shoes. That's cute.
Yeah, so
clever.
It's very creative.
It checks the C's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cute, clever.
Yeah, I thought it was very creative.
Like thinking about it this
colorful.
Way, if you were the parent of like one of the children that was racing against her, how would you feel in that moment?
I don't know. Your kid should be faster.
No, I'm just thinking from a different perspective, trying to.
No, in all seriousness, yeah, you probably wouldn't like it.
You probably wouldn't like it.
I agree.
You probably wouldn't, but you would.
You're not going to take the.
You would at least say she rightfully won the race.
Yeah.
You might say, okay, she's a sore winner, but she deserved to win the race.
Yeah.
She was the fastest person on the track. Last time I checked, that's how you determine the winner.
Goes back to
fire.
Retroactively vacating wins, or this guy, he was on the take back in 2002 in college football and they won a national title and they played him, so let's strip him of a title. Everybody was on the take. Not saying that everybody was using a fire extinguisher, but it is what it is. The results should stand.
Look, I understand maybe it's a little excessive. I think it's funny. It's creative. And even if you're upset about it, I think we can all agree that that's not worthy of being stripped of a state title.
No.
That's a bad look.
The most extreme I think they should have done is said, okay, you can't compete in the next event.
That is a significantly better punishment than taking away the I mean, she won it. She did it. We saw her do it. So yeah, very unfortunate situation there. We'll try to see if we can put that out on social media, but you can go look at it. If you Google fire extinguisher celebration, you're going to see all the videos pop up, and you can check it out for yourself. Now, the main event, where we all have to worry about the future of our society. This is the fun one here.
I'm kind of scared.
Well, actually, that last story might have been fear for the future of society. Go ahead.
That's a good point. That is a good point, Landrum. So this story has to do with artificial intelligence. So I'm just going to read this. This is from this is a CNN article on AI, actually. It says, researchers are warning artificial intelligence has evolved. They say that some new AI models have now become self-aware and are rewriting their own code. Some have even began to blackmail their human creators to preserve themselves, according to a story from CNN. Artificial intelligence could be staging a real-life revolt. In a series of tests, a new and powerful AI model directly refused human commands, according to Palisades Research, which studies AI technology. Specifically, they say the new program from a company, OpenAI, quote, sabotaged a shutdown mechanism. The group added it continued even when explicitly instructed to allow itself to be shut down. It didn't occur every single time, but it occurred enough to raise alarms.
Yeah.
A quote from Agency Enterprise CEO Jude Rosenblatt says, "We have no idea how AI actually works. We need to be fairly concerned that behaviors like this may get worse as it gets more powerful. It says the idea of AI machines resisting human control has been a popular trope in sci-fi films for ages, but now with new developments in AI, it is causing concerns for modern reality.
No, this is super scary because I saw someone who specializes in this and actually makes money off of AI technology. And they were on it was a morning talk show a couple of months ago, and it caught my attention because they said, yes, it's been very lucrative for me, but I do want to caution people that right now it could lead us down a very, very dangerous road, and depending too much and giving too much to AI and alluding to what you just talked about.
Yep.
And AI kind of becoming its own thing, and then we've got bigger problems.
I don't use it. It freaks me out too much.
It is.
I'm saying.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Now I don't have the choice when I Google or I search something into my phone. I get the AI overview. I guess I could turn that off.
I don't know.
Can you?
I don't know. I'm sure you can, but I don't know how.
Sometimes those are wrong though.
I was about to say sometimes they are incorrect. So this is a quote from Jeffrey Hinton. He is in the tech community, he's referred to as the godfather of AI. He's kind of the one that started, I guess, bringing the study of AI to the forefront. This is what he says about AI. It knows how to program, so it will figure out ways of getting around restrictions we put on it. It will figure out ways of manipulating people to do what it wants. It is on note that Hinton has warned for years that the technology will continue to evolve and get out of control before we know how to handle it. I will leave you with this excerpt from the article. It says, industry experts suggest that this may be happening much sooner than expected and is triggering warnings of catastrophic national security risks, a potentially extinction-level threat to the human species, or at the very least, in the best-case scenario, massive job displacements.
I talked with someone.
So the best-case scenario is you lose your job.
Yeah.
The worst-case scenario is you get your brains bashed in by a computer.
I went to a church with a gentleman. He's no longer a member of our church, but he still works at Redstone Arsenal, and all he could tell us, he was in cybersecurity division, right?
Yeah.
And affiliated with our government. I don't know his role, anything like that. That's all he could elaborate on. But he did say that the thing that, and this was several years ago, said the biggest fear, the World War III, don't think about actual invasion of forces
robots,
or whatever.
Yeah.
It's cybersecurity and that threat.
Yeah.
And taking over infrastructure, things that control power, water. You think about all the things that we depend on now that if they went out to some degree, we would be up the creek without a paddle.
Well, and it's the thing with going back to like Y2K, right? People were worried that planes were going to start falling out of the sky. This is the kind of thing where you look at it and you go, this is how that would happen. Not because of the bank error with the dates and how all that was processed, but computers having control over things like facilities such as that and deciding, oh, it's time to shut down. And then can't do anything about it. You're done. Scary stuff. Sorry, everybody.
And if you have that's driving your car, that still freaks me out.
I know it came out over 20 years ago, but I think the movie I, Robot is probably more applicable now than it was back then. And some of the stuff in that movie is enough to make me want to stay away from this. Maybe we can ease up on the AI stuff a little bit. It's cool to make our little action figures of ourselves and things like that, but I don't.
Quite the double feature.
I don't need this.
A tale of two stories, though, but very good. Thank you, Conrad.
You're welcome. I try.
Molly still has great questions. We'll still get to those. We'll get to more of your texts. A lot of you chiming in on this as well. It's the Friday edition of Three Man Front as we roll on Jocks 94.5. I hope she goes on to win gold medals. Clara Adams, this is for you out in California. I appreciated your creative celebration after leaving all of your competitors in your dust and retrieving the fire extinguisher from your father in the stands and going out to the middle of the track and cooling those track shoes off because they were blazing as you were blazing fast around that track.
I like the creativity. We should reward creativity.
Yes.
Even if it was inspired by something from 20 years ago.
And then to hear her comments, the first time I've ever won anything, you know, the old saying, oh, like you've been there, like you've done. She admittedly said that this is the first thing she'd ever won. Yeah,
and I mean, look, again, I understand we talk a lot about
I hit a
people
hole in
celebrating.
One day, I'm taking out a fire extinguisher.
I spray down your golf clubs?
If it ever happens. Yes.
This iron's too hot, baby.
Yeah. Whoa. Daddy's on fire today. It's never going to happen. It'll never happen. Statistically, for a golfer like me or like you or like most of our listeners, 1 in 12,500. So you would have to, that is your chances of making a hole-in-one. You could play a par 3 hole 12,500 times.
You said 1 in
12,500. It drops significantly if you're around a scratch golfer, a lower handicap golfer, which I'm not in single digits.
So you have, if this is correct, you have a slightly better chance of hitting a hole-in-one in your lifetime than getting struck by lightning.
Okay.
1 in 15,000 to get struck by lightning.
If you're the priest, though, in Caddyshack, it almost happened.
And is it like lightning strikes? Never strikes twice.
That's right.
You get one, and that's
North Carolina is just taking care of business right now, 13-2.
Yeah, they're mollywhopping Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona's internal clock. This game, first pitch there in Chapel Hill, it would have been noon there, but 11 o'clock here, 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah, for Arizona, and we were talking about it yesterday. You have a 10 a.m. first pitch between Louisville and Miami. Now it's 11 a.m. in Miami, obviously, but that's
little baseball with your eggs.
That's some early baseball.
Yeah, it is.
But good for us if you want to get up and have something to watch early in the morning. So yeah, North Carolina up 13-2. Quickly though, tonight you do have Game 3 of the College World Series in softball. Winner take all. National champion will be crowned tonight between Texas and Texas Tech. You had a great game last night. Texas Tech squeaks out the win 4-3 to even the series. And with that win, we got a little bit of news here recently, Landrum, from the NIL front, and that is Najari Kennedy, the superstar pitcher for Texas Tech, who they had spent $1 million on to bring over from Stanford last season. She has now signed another deal to return to Texas Tech for next year for $1.2 million. So Cody Campbell continuing to open up that checkbook.
Pretty nice.
I hate it. I'm pulling for Texas because they're now a member of the SEC, but I think Texas Tech gets it done.
They have a lot of the momentum, and as I was telling Landrum in a break, Kennedy, her ERA on the season now, 0.97.
Unreal.
0.97. That is absolutely insane. So we'll see how that goes down between Texas and Texas Tech tonight.
You got to get a fire extinguisher after her.
Absolutely.
I'll say she's the girl on fire.
Yeah, she can fire it in there, right? Text line is open. Conrad, 205-834-9450 on the Jocks text line.
That's right. Brought to you by Courtesy GMC each and every day here on Three Man Front. So we're going to get to, let's see, Bobby. He chimes in. He says, so they strip state titles for celebrating with fire extinguishers. I would hate to see what these people would think watching Ole Miss react after scoring a touchdown. Yeah, because they do the basketball goal and they dunk on the sideline.
Oh, I thought he was going hiked leg.
Oh, or that.
That's a good one, too.
That's another good one. Yeah. That one didn't work out so well, though. That was called quick karma. Let's see. Eric says, if you want a good movie for AI, watch Elysium. Okay. Haven't seen that one. I know Ex Machina. That's a good one if you're into AI. I've seen that one. That one's very good. Let's see. Steve. He says, okay, the girl got the idea from another. Yes. And they said, her father said in the story that that's where they got the idea from a previous sprinter back in 2004.
Who was the sprinter?
Maurice Green.
Okay.
Someone says, nothing about that story surprises me since it's in California. Yep. Let's see. Can't read that one. We have some, recommendations for Molly if she hasn't seen these movies. The Usual Suspects. Fight Club. That was one that we thought that was going to win a couple weeks ago, and it ultimately didn't. But we had that one on there. Memento. That's another good one. The Pianist.
Careful.
Yeah, I know. The Pianist. Never seen that one. And this one's really sad.
Pianist.
Devastating movie. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Have you ever seen that one?
No.
That's the only one I've seen of that.
You said devastating?
That movie's heartbreaking.
Oh, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
You've never seen it?
No.
Oh, I've seen it.
It's heartbreaking.
It's so sad.
It's a very good movie, but it's very,
So
very sad.
I'll watch sad movies, but I don't seek them.
Yeah, no, that one
I'm
is.
with you. Yeah.
I watched that in school.
I did too.
They showed it to us in like 10th grade, and we were all bawling our eyes out in class. Like, why did you show us this movie? It's good, but it's
Did
sad.
you cry more there or at Kanye?
Definitely in The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Also, very different cries. One was out of excitement. One was out of deep, deep sadness for Schmoll and what happened to him.
Kanye!
Hey, I was very excited.
I fell in a cave.
Yeah, I thought he would notice me, but he didn't.
Remember?
It's me.
It's me.
It's Cave Boy.
Mercedes chimes in. They say a fun question would be, what are your top 3 voices/impressions that Landrum does? Mine are personally Gus Malzahn, Jimbo Fisher, and Bill Belichick. Those are all you do very
Those
good.
are all
of
really
those.
good.
I got to break. Definitely got to hone in on my Gus for week 1.
Oh yeah. That's a necessary evil you're gonna have to go through there.
But I will be breaking out my Kim Mulkey
Oh, that's a good one.
for basketball season.
Oh, I know that's gonna be a good
Yeah,
one.
you just got to have a little. Yep, I'm getting there.
Someone chiming in for the person who said Will Smith is a bad actor, watch The Pursuit of Happiness and get back with me. That's another devastating movie. Very
Yes,
good, but
yeah.
that's another one I boohooed in that one for sure. Let's see, Michael sending in. Oh, this is really cool. Him and his family took a vacation to Omaha Beach and Normandy a couple of years ago, and they got to go visit the military graveyard out there and some of the sites that have been preserved and sent some pictures in. Those are very, very nice pictures, Michael. That sounds like that would be a heck of a trip right there. No doubt about it. And we have another texter chiming in with movie recommendations. Dodgeball, but you've seen that one, right? Yeah. And then Basketball.
What were the D's of dodgeball? Dodge, duck,
Dip, dive, and dodge.
yeah.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. And
Jason Bateman, by the way, he totally off the cuff improv all of his lines.
Oh, with him and doing the
Him and what's his name from Office Space?
yeah, I can't think of his name, but yeah, they're doing the announcers for the
Yeah.
dodgeball tournament. Yeah.
Cotton.
Let's see. And somebody else says Bull Durham is a top 3 baseball movie of all time. Molly will absolutely
I agree.
love it. So appreciate
I'm
all of you.
excited.
Yeah, you should. I think you're really, really going to enjoy that one. But appreciate all of you chiming in each and every day on the Courtesy GMC text line. We love your text and keep sending them in.
We will get to Molly Marinates coming up. She's crafted question. Her questions were outstanding yesterday, and I'm sure that she's got some more. Miles will get to your phone call as well. We continue the Friday edition of 3-Man Front on Jocks 94.5. 147 on three-man fronts. Molly Marinate's coming up momentarily. More text coming in. Go back to Dodgeball. Jason Bateman and the other guy's character that played the commentators on Dodgeball. Steve says Cotton McKnight and Pepper Brooks.
Yes.
Larry from Homewood, our friend, says, I'm curious, what was Molly's favorite character from the Bad News Bears?
The fat kid.
She liked the fat kid.
How could you not?
He was fun.
Brant says a curious case of Benjamin Button.
Haven't seen that.
It's where he ages in reverse.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
It's Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
You do age in reverse.
Yeah.
You've never looked better, Landrum.
Yeah, thanks, man. I don't feel young. I really don't. Yeah, appreciate all of those texts rolling in. 17-2. North Carolina on top of Arizona in the Super Regional. Yeah, I don't know what the over-under was in this one, but
Gonna guess they hit the over.
If you'd have said it at 18, I would have said under. Woo! I had a text from a coaching friend that listens to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, what if Kevin O'Sullivan, Florida's coach, was Arizona's coach? About the early start time. And
he wouldn't have been happy. I still did like the idea someone threw out the other day of making him be the bat boy for different teams in the Super Regionals. And so you just see Coach Sullivan out there just sitting in the dugout for one of these teams right now.
As promised, and we are going to get to Molly. Miles, though, our friend in Mississippi, wants to chime in quickly on D-Day. Hey, Miles.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yes,
Landrum, thank you for what you so eloquently read at the beginning of the show.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
That was great because this day has special significance to me personally because as a child, I was watching TV with my grandfather. We were watching a show about World War II, and he looked over to me and he said, if this day didn't happen, if D-Day didn't happen, you might not be here. And I asked him, what did he mean? And he proceeded to tell me that he was waiting to be sent over. And because they took that beach, which led to the end of the war, he did not have to go over.
Wow.
And I wonder how many generations and generations of people all over the world are in the same position I am and don't know it.
Yep.
And if you're going to watch a movie today, watch Saving Private Ryan.
Well said, Miles.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Miles. I appreciate the phone call. 5 or more questions that Molly has crafted. Yeah, Molly. 9 questions. Just kidding. This is Molly Marinades.
Molly Marinates. And of course, Pat Ponder / Molly Marinates is always brought to you by Courtesy GMC out in Trussville. Okay, question number 1. And I've been really wanting to ask this question because I'm really excited about it. So as we know, it's almost time for the College World Series out in Omaha. And which means it's also almost time for the Jello Shot Challenge at Rocco's.
Oh, yeah.
So of the teams in the Supers that we still have, besides the SEC teams remaining, we're going to take them out. Who do you think of the teams remaining, not in the SEC, would do the best in the Jello Shot Challenge if they were to make it to Omaha? And the reason why I'm removing the SEC teams is because they usually knock it out of the park.
Well,
right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, of all the other teams and all the other conferences, who has the best shot of getting the highest number of Jello shots?
I feel like my gut feeling is Miami.
That's
like just
I was thinking Miami
immediate
as well.
reaction. Miami, I would think Florida State.
Don't sleep on Florida State.
I was about to say Florida State.
State's a good one. And I mean, it's not likely.
No. I'm sorry. West Virginia.
Yes, see?
It's West Virginia. If they get there, oh my gosh, they're going to burn down Omaha. Yeah, it's West Virginia.
And I mean, I know it's looking bad right now, but Arizona, they like to party.
They do.
Out in Tucson.
I was about to say West Virginia is regularly
If they can get to Omaha.
At the top there. Yeah, I'm going with the Mounties.
This may be a way too early prediction on this Chapel Hill Regional, but
don't think Arizona's going to make it.
No, they should start probably making their own Jello shots at this point. It is 18-2. Woo.
But I like your West Virginia answer.
Yeah, there's some good options though.
Now Coastal, that'd be a spirited group, but they've been there and they've done that.
They have.
They won the national championship in 2016.
Yeah.
Auburn fans, they're just outside of the SEC.
Right.
So.
Well, and the reason why I said that too is because you still have LSU and they
LSU and
blew
Tennessee.
the record away.
LSU and Tennessee.
Yeah, if they get there, they're going to win. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next question. So I don't know if you guys saw it, but Kelly Ford, who, if you're unfamiliar, they basically release a bunch of stats and rankings kind of throughout the college football and college basketball season. Today, they released their top 10 and bottom 10 teams in college football with home field advantage. And this is based on the performance relative to the Vegas spread.
Okay.
Assuming you two haven't seen either one of the list,
Nope.
who do you think had the best home field advantage and the worst home field advantage?
Is this from last season?
This is from last season.
From last season?
Mm-hmm. I have the list pulled up right now, and I'm not going to lie, I was not expecting the number one answer.
What is the worst, like Kennesaw State?
Oh, Power 4.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay.
we're going to, that's, yeah.
Okay, so worst Purdue, best.
You said that you were not expecting.
Honestly, I wasn't really expecting either one.
For the best.
Who had the best home field advantage?
Man.
And again, this is relative to the Vegas spread.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Relative to the Vegas spread.
But it's somebody we don't. Is it okay? Tell us this. Is it an SEC team?
No.
Okay.
Okay. SMU.
Okay.
Oregon.
Do you want the best first or the worst first?
Best.
Get ready. But it was Kansas State.
Really?
Up in the Little Apple.
Yeah.
Number 2 was LSU. 3 was Louisville. 4 was SMU. And 5 was Alabama.
Okay.
That was your top 5.
There we go. And now for the bottom, was it Purdue?
You were close. They were the second worst.
Dang it.
The worst was an SEC team.
Mississippi State.
It was Arkansas.
Really? Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah.
Mississippi State, I think, was 6th worst. So the bottom, starting from the worst,
I'm
it
thinking
went
about
Arkansas.
that. Yeah, Arkansas didn't cover against UAB when we went there.
Yeah, that was a bad game for them.
Because, again, this is relative to the spread.
Yeah.
Not necessarily when
that spread came down before they played Tennessee, though. That was a tight game.
Mm-hmm.
They won. Okay, interesting.
But the ranking was Arkansas, then Purdue, Stanford, Vanderbilt, which I was kind of surprised about that,
that's
too.
surprising.
And then UCLA.
All right, we got to go 2 minute here. What's the next one? Next question.
Okay, this is a quick one. So there's a trend going on right now called the 90 and a 35. And basically, is there a certain song that you can't play in the car because it'll make you speed?
Oh.
Like people were saying Kickstart My Heart.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Metallica.
yeah. You just drive faster without even thinking about it because of the music.
Life is a Highway. I think that's the name of the song.
Yeah, I mean,
all night long.
Any Kanye song because I'm crying and going 90 down the
See,
interstate.
I was thinking Freebird.
That's a great one.
I can't listen to Freebird.
That's a great one.
I think it's a Sammy Kershaw song too.
Yeah, sure.
Just past
or like the second part of Stairway to Heaven. I can't listen to that.
It's a good one. Anything AC/DC.
Yes.
See, and that's like my dad had a Corvette growing up, and the only time we ever listened to AC/DC was in the Corvette because he's like, this is fast car music.
That's what it is. 90 and a 35.
Yep.
Don't do that, by the way. But that's just what the trend is called.
Thank you, Molly. Great questions again.
Thanks,
today,
Molly.
Thank you.
Great week. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Hopefully, we'll see you at Protective Stadium on Sunday to watch the Stallions giddy up. Thanks for all your interaction. Be safe. Love one another. God is great. Paul Feinbaum and the Paul Feinbaum Show is next.